finals, both the winners final and the underground finals. We'll have them alongside the grand final itself. Obviously, we do have a secret clause that does say that if both fighters do wish, we can just randomize the stages, but you know what it's like. So, round 1, and away we go. Raziel on the left of your screen coming in with Ribbon Ring, coming in with that Popper, and the Guardian. Going to be a very interesting mix-up there. We've seen it work before, and already gets the shock on Yoshi's Bite and Bark, who's coming in with the hottest of slaps and the Seiki. So both coming in with an electrifying arm, but very, very different arms in that scheme of things. Another slap is going to just twist around Raziel and give them a little bip. The fire element basically means that if it hits Ribbon, they'll immediately get floored just like that. The Seiki is a fully guided arm, which will just immediately home in onto your opponent. Whereas the Guardian couldn't be more different, it's just an extra shield. But an extra shield with a little bit of a shock to its tail, and you do not want to get caught off guard for it. Having said that though, Yoshi does have a decent loadout for this. The slap can easily get around the Guardian, but the Popper is designed to make up for that. And if they can beat Yoshi to the punch, they'll at least send them flying. But so far Yoshi is holding their own, and another big explosion is going to take Raziel down as Bark gets in the way, takes a bullet for the team. As Yoshi just gravitates towards the center, they're not allowing Raziel to really get jumpy here as much as they would probably like to. And again, just getting caught by the missile. Unfortunately, just could not jump high enough on that occasion. And the missile's explosion will give Yoshi the initial point. So as we start up in match number 2, Yoshi not going to change anything. Raziel is going to ditch the Popper for the Tri-Blast, but Yoshi is going to get the shield up for the rush. No further damage required. The bolts are going to be a little bit more of a hindrance for Yoshi here, especially for Bark as well, considering that as long as one of those prongs hit, Bark will immediately drop, as you can see, which just robs Yoshi of any and all abilities that they might have. And you can see how much confidence Raziel has though. He's going to get caught up with another shock, and another slap immediately wails Raziel down. And this is the part where you don't want Yoshi to start building up a head of steam, because every slap that is landing is costing Raziel that health lead. And suddenly Yoshi somewhat back into this, although they are in KO range of a rush. If Raziel wants to go for it, they could just go by on just sheer damage at this point, but so too can Yoshi. And another slap is going to stop Raziel from going any further, and that's a free rush, and that's a KO. Unfortunately there from Raziel, just got clipped at the worst possible time, and that's a free rush for Yoshi, who takes good advantage of that, and the good doggo goes through, taking the lead by 1. Yeah, as I was trying to get out, Bite and Bark's abilities are more Bark's abilities than Bite. Bark allows Bite to get a much higher jump, and also they fire out that little random punch every now and then, which is why you see Bark just sort of like doing their own thing, having a little bit of a time. But also they can take an additional attack from Bite. If Bark is in the right place at the right time, it'll hit Bark and not hit Bite. So, but unfortunately, once Bark goes down, Bite themselves don't really have an ability of their own. So they have to rely on sheer strategy and willpower to really get through. And they've shown exactly that. Like, Raziel was a lot more confident with the Tri-Blast going in there because it helps. It covers such a good area. But those slaps, those hot slaps from Yoshi were consistently swinging on through, and Raziel just didn't have an answer for it. And the Guardian, unfortunately, is one of those arms where it just doesn't quite work against the slap, and we're not going to see it in this match, nor are we going to see Ribbon. We're going to have a character switch. Raziel coming in with Min Min, Sparky, and we got a blob on the field. I like the fact that we're coming out with some more of the unique arms in this in the first round of this tournament. So Sparky, just a straight up boxing glove. Again, we're keeping with the Sparky element. Oh, and unfortunately, AoE again. The AoE explosion from the Seiki just catching Raziel out. You cannot underestimate that. And Raziel has a blob, as you can see there. It's a much more bouncy arm. It also means the grabs are also bouncy as well. It really does change up the playstyle quite a bit. It also leaves a smokescreen effect and causes the self-destruct from the Seiki, and that carries a massive risk. But having said that, Raziel gets pegged by it as well. So even seems as far as Yoshi is concerned, who is still consistently swinging here. Rush is going to come out from Raziel. Not going to hit, but unfortunately Yoshi's does. Pushes Raziel all the way back to the other side of the stage. Bearing in mind, DNA Labs is a massive stage in and of itself. The blob is going to catch Bach, but again, the explosion of the Seiki is going to take Raziel down. They have enough time to get the Dragon Arm back up, but look at the health deficit here. They're able to catch another one here and immediately takes the free shot to take Bach down, and just like that, they've swung it back into a winnable condition here. Yoshi into critical. Raziel gets another clean shock with the Sparky and turns it around beautifully. Shock into the grab confirmation, just oozing in confidence there. They were not backing down in the slightest, and we are going to see double hot slaps coming out from Yoshi, who's immediately going to get pegged for the first time by that rush. 345. Raziel getting exactly what they want, but unfortunately getting chipped down by the 1-2 of the slaps. And obviously, for Ribbon Girl, the slaps were bad enough, but for Min Min, it's worse on the basis of if it is heated up, it basically renders the Dragon Arm moot, which is why Yoshi's trying to find these hits where they can, but unfortunately putting a bit too much pressure and actually getting completely eaten up by Raziel. And again, the confidence to just keep going for these Sparkies, knowing that as long as the glove will hit, there's nothing Yoshi can do about it. And our first matchup of the tournament is going to go to match 3. It's 1 apiece. Raziel's significantly more confident. Oh, sorry, confident? Comfortable. Bit of both, to be fair. Like, the second they came in with Min Min, the second they came in with that Sparky and Gusher, not Gusher, Blob. I don't know why I keep calling it Gusher. Gusher's the purple one. You'll see that eventually. Maybe. We'll see. But the second they switched to that, it took them a while to get into it because Yoshi did have quite a substantial lead towards the end of the first point. But they were on form after that. They turned it around beautifully, and then it didn't look like they were going to give away the lead anytime soon in that second point. So, and also a quick little reminder to you all about the rule set as well. There is one thing that I didn't quite touch on. If you do switch a character and you won the previous point, you need to announce a character change. You do not need to announce a arms change. Arm changes don't count. But if you are switching character, you have to let your opponent know. But that is only for the winners. The loser of the previous point does not need to do so. And we are going to see a character switch. So Raziel's going to play with 3 different characters in round 1. We saw Ribbon Girl, we've seen Min Min, and now we get the glorious Dr. Coil making an appearance. And Coil is a character that is, well, to say that she's part of the meta is an understatement. I mean, certainly in America we've seen the tournaments time and time again. Coil has made massive appearances, and we're going to see Coil make an appearance again here in the EU scene. Immediately takes Bach down with the Hydra and the Toaster, so going for an all fire loadout, but it's getting caught out by the slaps, and Yoshi has to really rely on those tools now. They've got a Tri-Blast of their own to try and at least get a little bit more purchase onto where Coil is going to be. But also remember that Raziel does have a Hydra of their own, so it's going to be a lot of pressure from the pair of them here. And obviously Coil has that third arm that can be deployed if it gets charged up. Bach, unfortunately, not hitting the target on this occasion. And Rush is going to... No, it doesn't cat KO. Yoshi on 1 HP, quite literally. And the Hydra, again, going to catch Yoshi out. They were jumping completely into the path of where Raziel wanted them to be. And Raziel just needs to win 1 more point to take them through. into round number 2. Yoshi trying to start with a very brave grab, but it's not going to happen on this occasion. Koyo just floats away. Both getting hit there, but crucially, it's Raziel who got the charged hit, so they get the better of the exchanges. But the Tri-Blast is going to at least pepper them a little bit too much. Arm weak on the right-hand side for Yoshi. They cannot allow Raziel to keep firing on through, and they do indeed do so, and they broke the arm as a result. There was a free punch for Raziel. That is going to be a rush. That is not going to be the KO once again, but again it puts Yoshi in a very bad position. Does manage to get purchased with the rush of their own, 225. Not quite the damage that they would have liked, but it gives them a little bit of hope, but they cannot afford to take one more punch. The slap made it just in the nick of time, but it won't matter anyway, because the Hydra on the rake up catches Yoshi off guard, and Raziel comes from 1-0 down to win this set by 2 points to 1. It took Raziel a little while to get into that, but once they found their groove, they did not look like they were going to lose that anytime soon. And Yoshi, despite having such a good start, unfortunately is going to have to drop into the underground bracket yet again, but you never know. It might not be the last we'll see of them, because they will be still fighting. Remember, it is a double elimination tournament, so there's plenty of action still to come. If you are chasing things on through the bracket, explanation bracket, you'll notice that Replicant has taken out Daza by 2 points to 0, and Nihilus has taken out Arkrim by 2 points to 0, so that is a very interesting predicament. And obviously we know that Raziel will take on Iceman in round 2. And we know that Yam will take on Alimento in round 2, because Alimento has taken out Nai by 2 points to 0. We are still waiting on results from Alistair and Crits. But whilst we wait for that, we are going to move swiftly on to round number 2. And we will get ourselves started up there, and it will be reigning champion Riffa who will be going up against Nihilus. Now, normally Nihilus is pretty much always behind the scenes. Like, most of the times, you know, when we see Nihilus, it's, you know, Nihilus is doing, you know, a lot of organization. Like, these overlays, they always tweak them every single time without fail. So, it's going to be very interesting to see them getting involved in the actual fighting department. It should be a lot of fun, but obviously it's a mammoth task to go up against the revolution that is Riffa. So we're gonna see what they're gonna be able to do here against the reigning champ. It should be pretty interesting, of that there is no doubt. And it looks like we'll be starting on Mausoleum once again. And Riffa is going to be coming out with the Masango. Riffa has been either coming out with, well, we know Riffa comes out with either Masango or Ninja. They are the two mains of Riffa. I think we're all pretty much accustomed to that by this point. Nihilus is going to bring in Bite and Bark. So for the second round in succession, we are going to see a Bite and Bark competitor. Riffa coming in with the Cracker and the Megawatt. And immediately gets taken down by, you guessed it, it's the hottest of slaps. And also going in with the Tri-Bolt as well. And definitely going to try and utilize the little bounce that Bark possesses to try and get the Bolt in over the Megawatt. And also to outspeed the Cracker, which does deliver a little bit more damage, but again, nothing will affect the Megawatt when it's coming towards you. And now Riffa starts to build up momentum, has the blue mask equipped. The Masango gets 1 of 3, the blue one gives them a little extra speed, but again, that little 1-2 combo from Nihilus does peg them down a little bit. They are going to lose Bark, but now the yellow mask is on, which pretty much means don't rush against Riffa. Riffa will outrush you. It's as simple as that. You have to be very clever with your predicaments here. And the hot slap is going to wrestle control away from Riffa for the time being. And you just see Nihilus just trying to keep the high ground. Another successful 1-2 poke there from Nihilus. It puts Riffa in KO range from a rush. To be fair, Nihilus is in the same position as well. And another cheeky little hit there with the slap. Little totem does give them a little bit of a barrier, but now it's just one more hit that Nihilus is looking for. Both now in critical, but the slap is going to come out. And Riffa is going to drop to the floor. Did not see that coming in the slightest. And Nihilus is going to take a point away from Riffa here. Both will have rush to go. Coolerang is going to be the arm swap for Riffa. Nihilus going to stick with the tri-bolt and the slap. So now Riffa does have something that they can at least contest the slap with. So we'll see if they are going to be able to utilize that. Again, managing to get the hit in, but couldn't quite get the second that they were looking for to try and nip Riffa down. And this pressure really coming out from Riffa now. This is why they're the champ. Coming out with damage. Both went for the rush, but it's Nihilus who's going to get the better of the exchange. 320. It's put Nihilus in a very nice position. Just missing out on that grab. Thought they might have had the range to do it, but not quite. They do get the stun with the tri-bolt, but couldn't follow through with it. They have the health lead. They just dropped underneath half health here. So it's crucial that they keep this pressure up, but Riffa is slowly but surely bringing this back into their favor. And you know if they can wrestle a point away, they'll absolutely do so. Rush is ready to go. They have Nihilus in critical, but they're going to see if they could just go with the heavy exchange. But Nihilus gets the shield up. So chip damage and nothing more than that. They do get a solid hit with the Rang, and the shield is very weak on that right-hand side, but Nihilus gets a blow themselves. Missing with the grab, dodges into the cracker. Oh, Nihilus nearly swung a full point away from Riffa, but it's one apiece now, and Riffa could still win this. They're going to switch out that Rang and bring back the Megawatt. So they're going to try and go for the slow arm, fast arm combination. Meanwhile, Nihilus is going to stick with what has worked for them so far. But the 1-2 combo from Riffa is going to take them off guard yet again. The slap powers on through. That is the unfortunate thing about the popper and crackers. They are very lightweight. Anything will punch through them, including the slaps. No rush confirmed for Nihilus, but they do get the 1-2 poke anyway. And the shield is up to make sure that Riffa not only doesn't get that, but Nihilus goes for the slap and gets the wake-up grab as well. Nihilus suddenly finding a whole lot of motivation, a whole lot of confidence to go for these plays. Riffa is just not dealing with this slap in time. Nihilus is just looking for a hit, maybe two, depending on what makes the mark. The Megawatt, though, is going to come through yet again. Nihilus has rushed there looking for anything. Anything will do to take Riffa down, and there is the bolts. And reigning champion Riffa is gonna go a point down in this set. Nihilus holds on to take the first point. Well, well. How the turns table. Riffa, who made history in the previous tournament by cracking the 14 wins, which no one has ever done in the Challenge Cup, is now looking down a prospect of losing the first round of the 59th tournament. It's not over yet. We've seen the comeback happen before. We saw Raziel go a point down and come back to win, so it could probably do so again. We are going to go straight back to Mausoleum. This is Riffa's choice to do so, and it looks like it's still going to be the same arm combinations for both sides of the field, as Nihilus immediately tries to get a little bit of a head start, but Riffa is going to have none of that. They're going to be on to what Nihilus is wanting to do here, so it's just going to be down to if Nihilus can just switch up just a little bit here to catch Riffa out, but unfortunately going to get caught by another cracker spot. And Riffa so far has been unscathed here. Gonna get a bop on Bark, and finally the 1-2 combo does catch up, but Nihilus just a little too close for Riffa, who just immediately regains control of this situation. They're allowing Nihilus to take the center field, and they're okay with hanging back on the wall. They're not going to get any purchase with the rush on this occasion either, but it's all about timing, and Nihilus timed that beautifully, puts themselves right back into contention here, bringing the health field right back down. No hits from the cracker. Riffa just keeps on trying. Finally, they find a way through and stops Nihilus from hogging that air in the central field. Nihilus into critical, gets caught by another Cracker hit. The Megawatt will probably KO at this point if it hits. So too will a charged up crack. The Megawatt just about missing Nihilus. Got out of the way in the nick of time. 25 seconds on the clock. Gets caught by the Cracker again. Just as Nihilus had deployed the slap, which was unfortunate. Gets a nice handy little jump across the Megawatt here. Try to go for the grab, but the Cracker is going to deny them in the air. And Riffa puts themselves right back into contention here. Both with Rush available to go. Nihilus not going to swap weapons. Neither are Riffa. So it's still going to be Cracker Watt versus Bolt Slap. And Nihilus just couldn't quite get the slap that they were looking for. And now they finally find it. Another charged up glove. Going to take Riffa right out of it. They had the yellow mask on as well. They did not want to lose out. Another Rush exchange, which is why they were trying to get that up. Arm is down on the on the right hand side even. And that is a free rush for you, Riffa. And that pegs Nihilus all the way past the halfway mark. And it gives Riffa the lead that they were looking for. It's now up to Nihilus to try and get another good timed rush. But they keep getting pegged away by Riffa here. Nihilus into critical. Does manage to finally get a slap around. Didn't quite get the grab. Are they going to get the damage? They do get damage. 310 in the end. Puts Riffa on the cusp of critical. They've got to find a way through before Riffa can get their rush up, because you know the second Riffa has rush advantage, it's a different ball game. Blue Mask gives them that little bit extra agility. Finally gets caught with the slap, but they do have rush and they do get the grab, and that is going to be the KO. And just as I was telling you at the start of this initial match, it is anything can still happen. Riffa is going to take this back one apiece. And for the second time in succession, we're going to match number 3. Which of these two will make it through into the next round? Which, by the way, is the winners' semi-finals. It is all to play for here. We do finally have confirmation that Alistair did take out crits by 2 points, and also they will be taken on Replicant as we speak. So pretty much everybody now in action in round number 2. Riffa is good and ready to go. And it looks like we're going to go straight back to Mausoleum. So neither player wanting to depart from this. We're going to see what the action is going to be. There is a Kablammer in the back if Nihilus wants to try it out. And in fact, they are going to do so. And to be fair, Riffa switched as well. Riffa took out the Megawatt and in exchange for the Coolerang. Did they predict something like that from Nihilus? We're going to find out. The Coolerang not quite finding its mark. So yeah, Nihilus is dropped out a curved arm and is just going straight up for the initiative. And obviously the Kablammer, a very different weapon. It is a heavy arm. It does that nice little flick to give your opponent the last second chance to get a shield up. But the explosive power that it can bring can be quite devastating. Riffa with the yellow mask on gets caught by the ball, but not enough to get knocked down here. So we'll see if Nihilus can make up for the fact they don't have that firepower of the slap anymore. And currently it's just a little poke exchange at this point. Nihilus has a little bit more better consistency thanks to the bolts, but finally gets thwarted by the Cracker. And it's going to be Riffa who takes the initiative, but immediately gets caught by the explosion. They no longer have that mask equipped to be able to outrush here. Grab's gonna come up, just about missing. Bolt again, just flinging off the shield. And the explosion again from the Kablammer does catch Riffa off guard. Both are just waiting for the respective player to blink in terms of the rush here. And again, the boomerang is going to bounce harmlessly off that shield. Grab attempt from Riffa this time round, also missing. And the rush does manage to come through, takes Nihilus right out of contention there. 300. The bolt bounced off the totem as well, so it gives Riffa a good enough of a gap to keep this, and they have won this from here. 3 seconds left on the clock. Nihilus does get damaged down, but Nihilus already knows that Riffa has this point in the bag. So once again, we have a situation where a player has been 1-0 down in the set and is just 1 point away from going on through with a pretty nice comeback. Although having said that, Nihilus has fought tooth and nail for this match and is going to get caught by the Cracker once again. And Bark is going to immediately vacate They'll get back up in just a second. And another nice little stun call from Nihilus there. Both with Rush available and ready to go. And Nihilus is suddenly finding some really good purchases here. They've taken out that Kablammer, bringing back the Hot Slap. And so far, it's working a little bit better for them now. But now they're going to have to be very careful because Riffer's going to go for this. They're gonna force the shield to break. Only gets 30 damage, but they'll take that. It's certainly better than nothing at all. But another successful read with that Tri-Bolt stun. But Nihilus cannot afford to let Riffer get too much Bark's immobile. Bark's just immobile, just having a whale of a time on the trampoline, and Riffer is determined to make sure they stay exactly where they are. Blue Mask coming up for Riffer gives them that little extra speed. If anything, this hurts Nihilus so much there being the trampoline out because they just cannot approach Riffer in the slightest. And Riffer could just afford to take the backseat and just throw in the Cracker every now and then because it's quick enough to make the distance. Nihilus has it all to do here and actually does get a grab. Very surprised grab as a long range one, and Riffer did not see it coming. They just need one more poke and they are going to get it. Once again, it's the Cracker that's just too much. And reigning champ Riffer goes from 1-0 down to once again book their way into winners semi-final. Oh, Nihilus just couldn't quite hold on. And yeah. And unfortunately, that all went downhill the second the trampoline came out because suddenly Bark just could not get back to bite in the slightest. Like, Nihilus couldn't do anything. Suddenly, they basically had their entire game plan out the window completely. Because Bark is able to give Bite, the abilities. Without Bark, you can't do the high jump. Without Bark, you don't have an extra glove coming out. Without Bark, you don't have that extra mini shield that's floating around. The trampoline completely kills Bite and Bark's playstyle immediately. And the second Bark was in the middle of that, they were not getting off the trampoline anytime soon because every single time they woke up, Riffer was already in mid-punch and it was going to go down straight again. So there's nothing that could have... That was the worst possible thing to happen for Nihilus. They did everything they could to keep that match alive, but unfortunately, Riffer does take it in the end. And the reigning champ proves why they are a 14-time winner by booking their ticket into winners semi-final. And we also know that the top two seeds, no matter what happens, are going to be through. Iceman taking out Raziel, also in a 2-1 matchup. So both of the high seeds having to go the distance in their matches, which is incredible to see, it must be said. And it does mean that maybe, just maybe, we could still get an upset on the tables. The other two higher seeds are Yam and Replicant respectively. They are currently doing their matches against Alimento and Alistair respectively. And a reminder that there are 3 former winners in, so you would think, mathematically speaking, the 3 former winners would probably make up the top 3, but we have seen some very interesting things happen in these tournaments before. I mean, like I said, last time out, Alimento, who had never made it into top 3 in this competition ever, not only made it to top 3, but made it to the grand finals. Anything can happen. And if Nihilus can go toe-to-toe with Riffer, what's to say that everybody else in this competition can't? So we are going to see how it will all play out. But we are just waiting for both of the other round 2 matches to go because we can't really commentate on any more matches until that happens. Down in the underground bracket, we know that Daza and Crit are going at it to try and make it through into underground round 2. The winner of that match will take on Raziel. Arkarim will take on the loser of 10, which is Yam versus Alimento. Yoshi will take on the loser of 8, which is between Replicant and Alistair. And we know that Nihilus will be taking on Nai in underground round 2, and that will probably be happening as we speak as well. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to have a quick little intermission whilst we wait for the other round 2 matches to happen. To finish. And when we come back, we'll have winners semi-finals. Don't go away, my friends. I did say it would be a short intermission, and we are going to be back. So my friends, hello again. Welcome back to the 59th installment of the EU Arms Challenge Cup. I am still your host and commentator for today, Tamashi Kanjo, and we are about to start with the first of our semi-finals, winners semi-finals to be specific, and it will be between seeded number 2 and seeded number 3 respectively. It's Iceman 92 versus Yam. We are just gearing ourselves up now for this. So hopefully you're all sitting comfortably. It should be a lot of fun. Yam being able to vanquish Alimento also by 2 points to 1. Alimento was our grand finalist last time out, and unfortunately Alimento could not replicate that and take out Yam. So they are going to still have a chance to do so via the underground bracket. It's going to be a little bit harder for them to do that, considering the fact that we've had some really good players already so far today. But it does mean that as of time of writing, providing Replicant can take out Alistair, the top 4 seeds will be making it through to the semi-final matches. But obviously this is the most important part now. Winning this set will book your tickets into the winners final, where even if you lose there, you're already going to be guaranteed 3rd place, because you'll only drop as low as the underground final, which if you lose that, you come 3rd. So it's as simple as that. Iceman is determined to play catch up with the cup wins. They're currently sitting on 12 wins. Obviously Riffa has the record on their own accord now with 14, so they want to try and get back at them. Winning the 13th one would tie them with Yada, since Yada also has 13, but that remains to be seen. Meanwhile for Yam, they are determined to win this cup for the first time ever. They've made it to 2nd twice, they've made it to 3rd 3 times, but they are yet to actually get their hands on the cup itself. To do so, they'll have to book their ticket into winners final by taking out Iceman. How this is going to play out? Well, we are going to find out very soon, and we are going to have Mausoleum banned, so do not worry my friends. We are not just going to be stuck on Mausoleum for the rest of the tournament. We are going to see Temple Grounds making an appearance. So we're just waiting on Yam to ready up, and there we go. So Iceman on the left of your screen, Yam on the right of your screen, and as you can probably tell, it's the first ditto of the stream today. It is Min Quad. Min versus Min. We've got immediate starting grab from Iceman, because of course Iceman has to style like that. Gonna come in with the Chakram and the Ice Dragon. Yam also going to come in with an Ice Dragon, but comes in with the Phoenix instead. So we got Stun Ice versus Fire Ice. It's going to be an interesting setup, and so far it's Iceman with the early initiative, forcing Yam into the corner, which is always hard to get out of. Does manage to jump ahead of their dragon, and fires in with the ice as well. Always interesting to see that both fighters do not have the dragon equipped on the dragon arm, much preferring to have the Phoenix and the Chakram. To be fair, they are both curved arm tools, and a bigger hitbox for them. It's just a lot harder to dodge than the bigger laser of the dragon. You just would not put it on that arm. And Yam is managing to bring this back into contention, catches Iceman right between the pillars, and suddenly turns that right back into their favor. They went from being stuck in the corner on one side to catching Iceman out between the pillars, and scores with the rush big time. And Yam will take the initiative in this first matchup. Yeah, I'm going to switch out into the Cracker, anticipating that Iceman may or may not switch. Iceman switches as well, comes into the Sparky, and the Cracker being on the Dragon Arm is very interesting, because obviously it means it fires out with its element immediately up, and it is a quick firing arm, so as long as it can beat the Sparky or the laser to the punch, they will immediately floor Iceman the second it hits and disables that Dragon Arm. But having said that, Iceman is going to get a sparked up hit as well. Gets a free chance to charge the Sparky up. And obviously it can just completely box through the Cracker. So it's all up to Yam being able to catch Iceman before the damage can be done. And so far back into the corner, Yam just needs to find a little bit of a moment because, again, the Sparky is catching Yam out a little bit more consistently here. They don't really have anything to outbox it, and Yam is going to blink with the rush, and the Cracker just about catches Iceman. Both pretty much on level health here as the chip damage comes up from the laser, and they're just basically just going back and forth with these trades. 30 seconds left on the clock. A nice 1-2 punch takes Yam down, and now it gives Iceman the confidence to go for these plays now with the Sparky permanently charged up. The laser is just going to be able to stop that. Yam is a hit away from going down, and Iceman will have brought this right back into the next point. 10 seconds left on the clock. It's still anyone's game, but finally the Dragon fires on through. And with 6 seconds to go, Iceman will tie this up, and we're going to have ourselves another close matchup by the looks of things. Yam immediately tried to go back for the Dragon Arm, gets pegged by the laser. Iceman going to stick with the Sparky. Yam is going to switch in to the Phoenix, so bringing the Phoenix back, but immediately gets caught still by the Sparky again. Yam doesn't really have anything to box out the Sparky with, which is the main issue. They have to hope that the Phoenix hits before the electrifying glove can do its damage, and Yam is going to catch the rush this time. 350. And Iceman tried to get the Sparky back up just, but Yam is not going to let them have it that easily, and you know it. But they'll have to do it the hard way, and they will be absolutely fine with that. 255 damage. Couldn't quite get the second juggle that they were looking for more damage, but Yam straight away on the cusp of critical. Make that in to critical. And Iceman has a lot more confidence. Remember that just the second you put the shields up, you get the arms charged anyway. It's not Dragon Armed up, but Iceman using it to their advantage anyway. It caught Yam completely off guard, and another Sparky hit as the result of a trade. It meant that Iceman was in the much better position, and Iceman will take the initiative, winning this set by 2 points to 1. They lead by 1 point to 0. But yeah, it was just unfortunate for Yam. Like, Yam was able to get punches in, but crucially, Iceman would get a Sparky hit of their own. It would count as a trade, but because the damage that Yam was doing was not enough to floor Iceman, Iceman would not only get away with it, but would then have enough time to take advantage because A, they're close enough to Yam to go for the grab or to go for the rush. It was just unfortunate for Yam. They had to try and, well, they couldn't really outbox them. Like, they had to just flat out outmaneuver them and hope that they were able to find the purchase with the stuff like the Phoenix. They do have a roaster in the back, and it looks like they've done a full overhaul here on their arms. They're going to bring in a roaster and a parabola. Not the parabola, the parasol, my bad, not the electric one, it's the windy one. And, well, Iceman's not going to change anything. They ain't broke, so Sparky and Dragon is still going to be the play. And again, catches Yam with the Sparky, forcing them into the corner onto DNA Labs, which is obviously the much bigger stage. And again, another free grab for Iceman, courtesy of the Dragon-armed Sparky. And just like that, Yam's health pretty much already halved. Make that more than halved. Another successful poke with the Sparky. And Yam is truly fighting out of the corner here. They're trying to stay alive in this set. They started off so well, but Iceman has since just controlled the pace of this and not allowed Yam to get carried away too much. That Sparky has pretty much been up for most of this match so far. The Power Soul is another quick tool, and it has that little extra mini shield effect, and it can at least stop the Sparky somewhat. And obviously they've got the roaster, which can also just stop the Sparky as well. But it's up to that Dragon that still cause a lot of issues, to still cause that distraction. The Power Soul just about missing Iceman there. Nice little nip to the side. Finally gets caught by the Power Soul, but it's not enough damage in terms of what Yam is outputting here. Slightly weak on the right hand side, but it will fade away. And Yam is just not able to get any punches in. The punch that they do and get every now and then, it's just so spread out, it doesn't really add to anything. And with 3 seconds left to go, Yam knows full well that that is going to time. There's nothing that they could do. just nothing was hitting. And obviously the roaster is hard to hit with as it is, roaster being an unguided arm. Unlike the other gloves in this game, it's all manual aiming, and Yam is going to choose to switch that out, keep the power soul, and bring back the Phoenix. Both going to go for the rush, but unfortunately Yam, not only were they not high enough, they just were too late on that. There was nothing they could have done, and Iceman not only gets a free rush, they get a grab as well, and it's just looking like it's pretty much done and dusted, although Yam is still fighting very much back into this, gets a nice big time grab, keeps Iceman in check as they dance around pretty much the last tube that's up here. And they've got the Phoenix to curve around it, but again, you feel like the Phoenix should have really came out in the first matchup, as the Chakram is now going to catch Yam as well. A shock was bad enough, now you've got a stun to contend with. They're able to box out the Phoenix for the most part, and the stun does hit, but crucially Yam does get a hit with the Phoenix. They're playing incredibly close up to Iceman here. They do get the arm down on the right hand side, so credit where credit's due. Yam still very much in this, but the Chakram is going to sneak around once again. And Iceman comfortably takes that in the end. The first match could have gone either way. The second match, you just felt it was only going to go to Iceman. And they will be comfortably through. It will be the first 2-0 of the session. And with that, Iceman will go through to win his final 2-0. So Iceman on course to try and tie Yada for 13 cup wins. It means whatever happens, Iceman will finish in the top 3. So it'll be another top 3 appearance for Iceman. You feel like you're used to seeing it by this point. You're used to seeing the names of Iceman and Riffa at the top of the table. But I'll tell you what, it's not going to be as straightforward as some may have thought, because the top 4 seeds are not your top 4 in the semi-finals, because Alistair has taken out Replicant by 2-1, which means the second semi-final will be contested between reigning champion Riffa and Alistair. So this will be an interesting matchup. We've seen Alistair provide some surprises before. I mean, obviously for those of you who are new, Alistair made their debut a few tournaments back and shocked everyone by making it to the top 3 on their first go round. It was just like, where in the world did this come from? And they have made it to the finals before. Credit where credit's due. They have made it to the final. I think it was 3 cups back. I think it was like the 56th cup, I do believe. So they are going to be looking to try and cause another little upset here, but to do this they'll have to take out reigning champion Riffa, and we've seen already. We've seen what Riffa is capable of doing. Riffa is able to come back from anything because, you know, he's Riffa. And that's just what Riffa does. But it looks like both of our fighters are all ready and set to go. Buster Beach is going to be making an appearance on the stream today. So, seeded number 1 versus seeded number 5. Alistair coming in with Coil on the left-hand side of your screen. And Riffa, as usually is the case, is going to come in with the Misango. So, looks like it's going to be Cracker and Megawatt for Riffa. They've been pretty much utilizing this a lot in this tournament so far. And a long range grab from Alistair, going to catch Riffa off guard. And Alistair coming in with what is essentially triple toaster, because if the toaster is on both sides, that basically means that no matter what happens with that charge, Alistair is going to get a brand new toaster to utilize. Weak on the right hand side for Riffa, but so far they're keeping Alistair at bay, not allowing them to get any kind of purchase. But Alistair is going to rush on through the Megawatt, curving back around, and puts Riffa right into critical. One more punch will do it for Alistair if they can take the initial points away. It's just straight up outboxing the Cracker and trying to outmaneuver the Megawatt, and they do so successfully. Misango is going to drop down, and the initiative goes the way of Coil. But that can soon change as Riffa is going to stick with the Megawatt and the Cracker, and actually does get caught. Actually gets the initiative there. Manages to catch Alistair out, and now dons the Yellow Mask to give them as much power when it comes to that rush as possible. So Alistair is looking to try and just wrestle that mask away from them. The Megawatt just about missing them. Just about able to get the shield up, and also far enough away for the Watt to not go through. They finally do get the hit and wrestle it back away, and the arm weak on the right hand side, and that's not where Riffa wants to be, but that's okay, because Riffa likes fighting out of the corner. The Megawatt completely dwarfs both of the Toasters, and Riffa takes the initiative away from Alistair, who is now going to have to bring this back the hard way. And it's already hard enough, but having said that, Riffa is now stuck in the hot pocket, and that's not where you want to be. And Alistair, because of Coil's floaty nature, because that she could just drift alongside and continue attacking at will, is getting a lot of good catches, but it does get caught by the charged up Megawatt. That will definitely wrestle it back away from them. They have to be so careful now, and that is why Riffa is a fiend when it comes to these kind of competitions. Does get the finishing blow in the end. It's the sheer speed of the Cracker versus the slow but very intimidating nature of the Megawatt, and Alistair is going to switch things up here. We're going to see the Fun Chuck coming out, so we're going to have a little bit of a stun play in play. I could have come with any other word to double take that, but I had to use play twice because I am silly. But the rush is going to come out. That is not silly in the slightest. 260 damage, I believe that was. And the Watt is going to come straight back. Forces Alistair back onto their feet, though, so they're able to get the shield up so they don't take all of that damage. But still, it's a good bite into that Riffa desperately needed. The Fun Chuck does have two modes of firing, one on the ground and one in the air. And bearing in mind Coil is mostly in the air, you're probably only going to ever see one version of that. And seeing two of those come out is very intimidating. Alistair just needs one more punch here. And the rush is going to come out as well. Going to bring the chip damage down, and Riffa knows that they could just hold on now. One punch from Alistair is all they are looking for, but Riffa does have rush, and nothing is scarier than Riffa with rush at the ready. But they are going to jump straight into the Fun Chuck. And it will be Alistair who will be taking the initiative. So in 2 sets in a row, Riffa is going to concede the first point. So Alistair is going to take the initiative here against Riffa, scoring in with that first point. So in back-to-back sets, Riffa, like, obviously we know what Riffa can do. We know Riffa is able to come out swinging, and they're able to make some very interesting combinations work. Like I said, the fast pace of the Cracker with the slow move, with the slow pace of the Megawatt works pretty well, because you can use the Cracker as a nice little poking tool, and the Watt is, well, you feel like you can outmaneuver it, which is what we saw Coil do time and time again. But it can still work. Like, if you are able to catch and slow down the Coil with the Cracker, if you can at least get that initial hit in, even if it's not charged, the Watt will likely be ready behind to just score through and maybe take that a little bit away. So we're currently having a bit of a discussion in the Discord. I'm not entirely sure what is going on here, but there may be a connection chit-chat. And if there is, and if Riffa decides to force the initiative, we might see that match replayed. We'll soon find out. We have seen Riffa just quickly drop from the lobby, so we'll see if Riffa does indeed come back. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a connection reboot. Whilst we await for that to happen, and we'll bring you news when it does. This is the VAR segment of the stream, just as a heads up. We're going to give you a little bit of a report from the underground bracket. Daza is going to be eliminated. Crits beat them by 2 points to 0. And then they went and lost to Raziel by 2 points to 0. So both Crits and Daza are out. In the other round 2 underground matches, Okrim took out Alimento by 2 points to 1. So Alimento, having made it to second 2 weeks ago, is going to lose 2 matches back to back, one against Yam and one against Okrim, and Alimento is out of this tournament. That is unfortunate. Oh, Alimento. Like I said, everybody has a good day, everybody has a bad day. It be like that. Hopefully we get to see you come back a little bit later on. Replicant took out Yoshi Bowser, so Yoshi is out, and Nihilus looks like they got a bye in round 2. I think Nai had to drop for some reason, so Nihilus is going to get a free match through there, which means underground round 3 looks like this. Arkun will take on Raziel, and Replicant will take on Nihilus. Very interesting matchups down there. The winner of Rep Nihilus will take on Yam. The winner of Okrim Raziel will take on the loser of this match, which is between reigning champion Riffa and Alistair. So, what is the... So we're still waiting to see if the first match counts. We're just waiting to hear. Riffa has double-checked their connection. So we're just waiting to see what the official word will be. If we will redo the first match, or if we will keep the first match on the basis of that. From the looks of the discussion, both participants seem to be happy with how matches 2 and 3 went, but the first initial point was questionable. So, just waiting to see if this is indeed the case, or if we are going to get a full reset. It looks like match 1 will stick. So Alistair will be up by 1 point to 0. If that is what I'm understanding, then it will be Alistair 1, Riffa 0. I'm waiting for a confirmation in the Discord. Okay, and Alistair has left the lobby to reset their internet as well. Okay, so we are going to... Okay, so VAR check complete. It will be 1-0 to Alistair. That match will indeed count. And moving forward, what will be happening will be if there is another internet connection... If there is another connection issue, it will be reset. If it persists, the point will go the opposite way, which will likely go to Riffa. So, DNA and Temple are going to be banned. We'll be heading over to Mausoleum. As a result, because of the fact that Alistair left... Wait, does that mean that's now gone to me now? No, it hasn't. It's gone to Riffa. Okay. But it also means that Riffa will be on the other side, so we'll switch the 2 names and the scores around. So Riffa will be on the left of your screen, and Alistair will be on the right when this match gets back underway. The underground bracket is still going on. Do remember that. The underground round 3 matches are still happening. Occam versus Raziel, Replicant versus Nihilus. If you want to follow along at home, explanation bracket. Pronounce that R's and L. Bad me. Explanation bracket in the chat, and you'll be able to see what the current standings are. And remember that Iceman awaits the winner of this. The winner of this set does book their ticket into top 3 no matter what happens, because even if you lose winners final, you go down to underground final, which you are fighting for the chance to get into the grand final. So whatever happens, you're in the spots that you want to be in for the podium positions. Yeah, and we'll have to wait it out just that little bit longer as well. We have Alistair back, and Riffa is set and ready to go. So I do apologize for the wait. Do remember that this is still best of 3. The match after this will be best of 5s because it will be winners final time. Mausoleum is the call. Riffa is going to switch into Ninjara, so the gloves are coming off. No more Misango. It is going to be Ninjara time, which means we're going to see that little extra ability of, if Riffa has the shield up, they are going to be doing some teleporting. And obviously they'll do that for their side dash as well anyway. And there you can see the first instance of that. Alistair coming in with a popper and a toaster. So they're going to see if they can try and outspeed Ninjara here with the poppers. Obviously they can get 2 every now and then if the charge up happens on the correct side. Weak on the left hand side for Alistair, but it does finally fade away. And again, the Tri-Blast is such a good combination to use here against Coil. The popper finally does hit, but look at how much damage Riffa has already applied to Alistair. The dragon is being utilized beautifully here, and Coil is just not closing the gap to take Riffa out in the slightest. Another Tri-Blast is going to poke Alistair down into the critical. Riffa is just looking for one more punch, and the popper is almost making its mark, but again the Tri-Blast and the dragon are just too consistent here. And that is the problem with Ninjara here, that the fact that they do have that dragon, it excels at range beautifully, and Alistair just can't find a way of closing up. On top of that, you've got the Tri-Blast, which is just denying Coil the room to really properly move around. Those bolts completely choke up all of that aerial space that she would otherwise occupy, and Riffa is just keeping them grounded beautifully. Rush is going to punch through the glove and send Alistair straight back into critical. Alistair immediately with the wake up rush is going to at least catch 220, but again the damage has already been done in terms of what Riffa was looking for. They've already pegged Coil down to one more hit. The dragon not going to quite make it on this occasion. The blast just about underneath, so Alistair is having to really operate on a different level here, but the dragon is going to come through, and Riffa ties up the set 1 apiece. It just goes to show that the second Riffa switches up from Misango to Ninjara, the difference is astronomical. Like, the things that Riffa could do as Ninjara, it just... oh, wow. It is relentless. And as a result, we're going to go to another match 3 in a best of 3. Pretty much all of them would have gone that way had it not been for Iceman taking out Yam 2-0. Otherwise, we would have had 3 matches in all of the best of 3s on stream. We nearly had it, chat. We nearly had it, but Iceman just had to be too damn good, didn't you? Anyway... so Riffa does not want to take us to counterpick stages at all. Ban Scrapyard and via DOS. Alistair is going to quickly BRB, so we're going to extend this match just a little bit more. And if anything, it puts the pressure on Alistair that match from Riffa was just it felt one-sided. It felt like no matter what Alistair was doing with Coil, Riffa had them shut out. Like, they were able to just get away with a lot of things, consistently at range, consistently having the dragon out. The bolts would find their marks the majority of the time against Coil. It was just... they had no way of being able to thwart that properly, so... we'll see what kind of stage Alistair decides to pick here. You wouldn't be surprised if you saw Buster Beach coming up, because Alistair felt very comfortable in that stage. But obviously, that was playing against Misango with a Megawatt attached. River could very well bring Ninjara into Buster Beach, and it would be a very different match. Like that's how different each character and each arm combination is in this game. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Some more strengths than weaknesses, some more weaknesses than strengths. But it's how you make that character work with the arms at your disposal that really shows what you can do and what they can do as well. Hopefully everybody is doing okay in the chat and enjoying your time. As a commentator, it can be pretty loud sometimes, or I can be pretty loud at times, so if you aren't doing so already, this is your tip. Please have a drink. I myself have some nice ice cold water. You have no idea how important that is. Oh dear me. Okay, it looks like... Nope, Alistair is still gonna quickly be upbeat for another minute. So, I'm gonna have this unpause. This gives us a chance to have a little bit of a breather. And it also allows me to just quickly have a look to see what the other two matches are doing. We still don't have results from the Underground Round 3 just yet, which probably means that by the time we're done with this set, they'll have likely moved on to Underground Round 4 without us, so we might miss out on the Underground semi-final again, but if that happens, it's fine, it's not the end of the world. These kind of pauses do happen. I know that there is a rule in place, like if a match goes beyond a set point, whoever's caused the wait loses the set. I know that's a rule somewhere. I forget whereabouts that is and what the time slot is specifically. I know we had the extended VAR, now we've had this, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. And ironically enough, Alistair tried to pick Viadolz, which got immediately banned by Riffer, who I think already knew that that was not going to happen. We're going to see Sparring Ring come up. A very interesting pick from Alistair if they are sticking with the coil. That means that River is not going to have as many places to hide around, because obviously Mausoleum is still a pretty decently big stage, whereas Sparring Ring, it's very closed in. And yeah, it looks like Alistair... Oh, I think Alistair... I don't know. Maybe. And that might be an announcement that they're changing. They are changing. Alistair is going to drop the coil and come in with Mechanica. This is going to be a very interesting matchup here. So if we're going to go Tri-Blast, Ice Dragon, pretty much going to stick with what works. Alistair coming out with a Tri-Blast of their own, and also coming in with a Whammer, and immediately scores with the explosion of the Bolt. But immediately going to get slowed in by the Dragon. Finally, the chill does pop away, but again, it feels like they're just allowing Riffer to play at range too much, because the Dragon is consistently going through, and Alistair is just getting completely caught by it. They are a heavyweight character here, so they are going to be able to just unflinch through, and the rush is going to come out and score 200. So it's a decent amount of damage for Alistair, but they have to make absolutely sure the Riffer does not get any purchase on that. The Dragon Laser with the rush is always devastating, and it is going to come through 370, and just like that, Riffer retakes the health lead, but does get caught by the Whammer. The stun of the hammer actually did catch Riffer there. Tries to come through for another one. The Tri-Blast does hit. The explosion is not enough to knock Alistair down, and both are fighting toe-to-toe here. Rush is going to come out from Alistair, but Riffer is just going to completely negate the entire thing, and they're going to come through with the rush of their own. The Tri-Blast just gets the KO of their own. Alistair was way too far away to utilize that rush. Riffer had complete control of that situation, and Alistair is going to stick with the setup, and Riffer going to switch out to the windiest of slaps. It's the Slam coming out now. Want to see if they can utilize that, using the shield into the teleport beautifully there to just score with another windy hit. This is going to be a much better tool to utilize on the Mechanica, since as long as it hits charged up, Riffa will get some extra purchase on it, immediately floors Mechanica as a result. The explosion is going to come out, but again, Alistair tries to force the initiative, but not going to score anything with the rush. They're consistently going for rushes where they don't really have Riffa in a position to do so. They do manage to get the grab though, which is an interesting decision in and of itself. And the hammer comes wailing on down, and Riffa suddenly finds themselves in critical. Alistair gets caught trying to go for that punish. Should have really just shielded that. And instead, they're still in this match though. As long as they can get another clean hit in, they will take Riffa out. But the bolts are still coming through, and that's the thing they have to be careful of here, because they're allowing Riffa to come back into this. But finally, the hammer comes in. A nice little flick onto the little noggin. And we're going the distance here. Who is going to get the better of this exchange? Riffa is going to keep with the slam. Rush is going to come out, but again, this time round, Alistair couldn't quite find it, and the slam is going to just wrestle that control completely away. Alistair thought they must have had it, but Riffa was able to get out of the way in the nick of time. And again, Alistair keeps trying to go for this rush punish. It's not going to work. The Tri-Blast is just going to get negated every single time. You're not in the right position for it. They do manage to get another 1-2 poke that puts Riffa into the corner. They're going to quickly nip out of that thanks to that teleportation ability. Rush is going to come out once again, but again, Riffa is just going to deny it. And just like that, Alistair in critical, arm weak on the right-hand side. Riffa just too speedy for Mechanica here. The Tri-Blast is going to find their way through, and the hammer pegs them down back past the halfway mark. But again, they've committed, and again, Riffa is going to punish with the rush, and it is going to be another comeback win for Riffa, who comes from 1-0 down to win this set by 2 points to 1. The top 2 seeds are in winners final. And with that, we are moving on through into winners final. It's the names you would expect to see at this point. It is Riffa to go up against Iceman. And from this point here, it's going to be best of 5 shenanigans. Can the reigning champion extend their lead? Or are we going to see a little bit more of a spicy throwdown as Iceman tries to claw back into those winning ways? Down in the underground bracket, we can tell you underground round 3 has finished. Arkroom has taken out Raziel by 2 points to 0, and Nihilus has taken out Replicant by 2 points to 0. So the other former winner of this tournament is out in underground round 3. So that's going to shape up the top 3 pretty nicely then. But which of these 2 juggernauts will make it into grands, we will soon find out. Best of 5 is underway. Riff on the left of your screen, reverting back to Misango, the Cracker, and the Megawatt. Iceman sticking with the Min as usual, Sparky, and Ice Dragon. We are going to see the Cracker not quite find its purchase on this occasion. The Megawatt, nice and bulky, but Iceman knows exactly what to expect. Just about gets the shimmy on to the left-hand side of the screen. And the Cracker gets another little poke down, finally starting to rail Iceman down as the double commitment there from Iceman, not quite catching their intended target. Iceman on the cusp of the halfway mark does have rush level with Riffa at the very least, but look at the damage that Riffa is pouring on in the red mask, just showing how intimidating Misango can be. And the Dragon just not going to phase them in the slightest, but the Sparky certainly will. But unfortunately, Iceman too far away to capitalize on the shock. Rush is going to come out, but unfortunately Riffa gets much better purchase on that, and is only looking for one more hit to take Iceman down and take the initiative in this set. They do get the Sparky charged up, but one more hit from anything will take this away. And River has so much health here, but the grab is going to come through, and Iceman is not going to stay down without a fight. 13 seconds left on the clock. The grab is going to come out. That puts River past underneath the halfway mark, but I don't know if it's too little too late. Or I don't know yet, actually, because that's another Sparky grab confirmed. 2 more seconds here, but finally the KO punch comes from River. They knew Iceman had to go for the aggression. There was only 2 seconds left. Another grab may have yoinked that away, but not to be this time round. River is going to make sure that does not go any further than that. Megawatt not going to find its intended mark, and neither does the Cracker. The Dragon gets a nice little liquor laser in there, and the Bolt follow on through to pop River right back down onto his tush. And being sniped out of midair, Iceman goes back in towards the corner. Another big time punch is going to send Iceman straight back down. You just wonder if Iceman, having got a lot of confidence from that previous point, is really turning up the heat in the second point. It certainly looks like that is going to be the way it's going to be, as another lick from the laser sends River down into critical, and what a 1-2 punch that was from Iceman, wrestling the feet away from River. And the first match is going to go the distance into point number 3. Both Riff Rush ready to utilize. Riff is going to bring in the Coolerang, and now immediately ups their speed with the blue mask. And immediately finds the mark with it as well, wrestles the ability away from Iceman, and then pops them down as well. Yellow mask equipped, so they will win off in the rush exchange if it does so happen, and obviously that little extra firepower as well. The Dragon is just keeping Riff at bay, and even though it's done enough to chain into the ice, which would definitely take the mask away, it finally does get the knockdown, but the rush immediately comes out from Riffer. Rake up rush from Riffer, 325 damage, pops Iceman on the cusp of critical, and now Riffer is very happy to just contend with just settling in around here. A trade, but a charged trade, so as a result Riffer does still come out of that with a much better vantage point. Although having said that, Iceman wrestles that right away but couldn't get the KO. They were one punch away from getting the KO. They just didn't quite find it, and the Dragon catches Riffer as they dodge to the right hand side, and Iceman is going to lead this best of 5 set by 1-0. Good showing from both of our players, showing why they are the number 1 and 2 seeds respectively. Iceman knows exactly what they want to do. They're coming straight back in, no changes required. Riffer, well, I think we already knew this was coming. Riffer picks Mausoleum. Misango coming straight back out to go up against Min Min, as our second match is ready to be underway. There's a Biffler in the back there for Riffer if we want to decide to see it, but I don't think Riffer's going to bring that out anytime soon. Chiller and Phoenix to go up against the combination of Tribolt and Ice Dragon. The Yellow Totem not going to do anything for Riffer on this occasion, but they are going to get the initiative with the Phoenix Punch, but Iceman not want to take that one lying down, immediately comes back with a punch of their own. A nice little trade off in the center area as Riffer keeps hold of that trampoline. Yellow Mask already equipped, and they're going to have Rush pretty much set to go. To be fair, so too will Iceman, and a nice little Tri-Bolt stun is going to wrestle control away, but unfortunately a double commitment from Iceman. 310 damage puts Riffer in the driver's seat for this initial point. And Iceman's got some, some work to do. They've actually leveled this beautifully here, and they're going to rush right in front of Riffer, and that's going to be a KO! No sooner has this girl opened her mouth, boom, Riffer is down before you know it. Iceman is just on fire today, just not allowing anyone to have any kind of momentum going in here. And with the Dragon Laser and the Tri-Bolt at their disposal, it feels like Riffer is rapidly losing control of this set. But we've seen them come from a point down in the previous matches, and Iceman is determined to get the better of them in every sense of the word. Tri-Bolt not going to land on this occasion, and the rush Not the best timing for Riffa this time round. They anticipated Iceman to either move or commit at that point, but it just did not happen. And now it's given Iceman all the confidence they need, all the motivation they could ask for to try and turn this around into their initiative. Immediately catches the stun and a beautiful juggle into the rush. It's a KO. Expertly played by Iceman. And that is 2-0 in this set. Iceman is looking for one more point. And they could still take a clean 3-0 against reigning champion Riffa. We are going to see what happens here. And shock, horror, disbelief. We're back to Mausoleum. And Riffa doing exactly what they did against Alistair. They went a point down with Misango, changed the Ninjara. And what did they do with Ninjara? They went on to win by 2 points to 1. But this time around, they're going to have to do this a little bit longer here because, well, we'll soon find out. Both are going to come in with, which is essentially the same combination. The only difference is that Riffa is bringing in the Tri-Blast, not the stunned versions of the Bolt. Gets a catch with the Cold Ice. Dragon immediately slows Iceman down. It also robs Min Min of her Dragon Arm ability because that's what the Cold Element does. And look at the pressure. Look at the difference in playstyle Riffa brings. The second they pull out Ninjara, it's almost like it's a completely different match as Riffa is controlling this from start to finish. Finally, the Dragon does manage to find a way through, but Iceman is just consistently fighting from the back. Another freeze. Riffa is just looking for one more hit of anything to take this away from Iceman, although having said that, they are on half health as well, but it's the AoE explosion of the Tri-Blast again. Iceman thought that they were past it, but they were not. They were still too close to the blast. And Riffa is going to take a point here. And again catches Iceman with the freeze, who has to just have the shield up and wait for it to pass. But the amount of pressure that Riffa is just flinging onto Iceman, not allowing them to play any kind of way how they've been doing so in the past 2 matches. Rush is going to come out, did tag initially, and does at least catch a little extra 90 on the side. But so far, Iceman has got no answer for this here. They finally do get a nice 1-2 poke through with the Blast and the Dragon respectively. But again, it feels like it's nothing in comparison to what Riffa is bringing to the table. Another 1-2 hit. The trampoline is out. Riffa is absolutely fine with the trampoline being out, as we've seen in the previous set. Iceman, 1 punch away from going down. Tried to go for the grab commit. Didn't quite get it. 45 seconds left on the clock. You feel like it's only a matter of time. And there it is. The blast is going to hit. And Riffa, once again, is going to start working their way back up from the bottom. It's 2-1. Oh, Riffa. Oh, Riffa is playing this kind of game today, it seems. 1-0 behind, Nihilus wins 2-1. 1-0 behind Alistair, wins 2-1. 2-0 down behind Iceman, now it's 2-1. Surely we're not going to have the exact same thing play out from here on in. I guess we'll soon find out. We are going to go to a much bigger stage. It's time for DNA Labs, and we're going to see the exact same weapon combinations. 3 horizontal bolts on either side, 1 explosive, 1 stunning. And immediately gets the stun up on the Dragon Arm, because of course that's what you're going to do if you're playing as Min Min. And there's nothing Riffa could do about it. Or is there? Gets another quick little knockdown and wrestles control straight back away. Ice gonna slow down Riffa for the time being, but Iceman is not able to use that to get the Dragon on up. Now they finally do so. Or do they? No, they didn't actually get it all the way up in time. I think Riffa managed to just about stall it out. And most of the tubes are still up. Pretty much all of the tubes are actually still up. Riffa gets caught with the Ice Dragon, but again, Iceman decided not to go for the initiative and loses the Dragon Arm anyway. So whilst Iceman does have the advantage here, remember, they are the ones picking these next 2 stages if we do see the next stage picked. But Riffa is determined not to let them have it. Another big time rush confirmed. Pegs Iceman straight back down into the same level. Having said that though, Iceman could do the same thing and catch Riffa by surprise. The dragon lasers do a lot of damage in rush, but again another catch with the dragon. Iceman is just a hit away, is going to commit to the rush, but Riffa is going to avoid it. There's nothing Iceman can do, and the hit is going to come in Riffa. Oh my gosh, Riffa is a point away from tying the setup. Iceman has it all to do, and you wouldn't think that as someone who was 2-0 up at one point, but Riffa is just once again showing why he's the reigning champion, why he has the records that he does, as Iceman tries to get some form of purchase on, but just can't. They just consistently keep jumping back into the way of the bolt or getting caught by the dragon. Riffa going a little too high this time round, and Iceman is going to peg them, so no damage from the rush, but almost looks like that Riffa doesn't even need it, because look at how consistent they're hitting with the bolt. Iceman just can't get into a position to do anything because they're consistently being shut down by Riffa, who has a massive health lead going into the final portion of this match. They're looking for one more hit from pretty much anything, but Iceman is starting to wail on in. They got Riffa caught into a series of bolts there, and the score with the dragon now, so Riffa has to wait this out. Both are going to commit to the rush, but Riffa, patient as ever, allows Iceman to take the bait, immediately jumps to the right, and capitalizes with their own respective rush. It's 2-2 in winners final. I swear. I swear it's almost like the second it seems like Riffa is going to get knocked out into the underground bracket, immediately just goes, you know what? No. Just no. Reverse sweep could very well happen here. Oh my word. And Riffa has switched to Misango. Having won 2 straight with Ninjara and having lost 2 straight with Misango in this set, this is a call and a half to go back to Misango. Cracker and Megawatt going to be the option. Iceman coming in with the dragon and the bolts still. What does Riffa have in store here? Well, they do get a poke with the Watt, as Iceman is going to just try and get themselves into a decent position, get that dragon arm prepped up if they can on the bolt, but they also have to make sure that they do not get caught by that oncoming Watt. We've seen Riffa do this time and time again on this stage, and arm weak already on the right hand side, and Iceman needs to be so careful. Well, finally they have the distance, the dragon arm is up, and Riffa is going to go for the rush and actually scores with the cracker. I don't think Iceman was expecting the second tally to come there, and just like that, the Megawatt hits as well. Riffa just oozing in confidence here. They are a poke away from taking Iceman down. The Megawatt flows on through. Riffa was 2-0 down in this set. Now they are a point away from winning the reverse sweep. Iceman gets the distance to charge up the tri-bolt yet again. They are going to get the grab. Riffa just was not responsive on this occasion. And that is going to give advantage back to Iceman. The Watt, again, just nothing you can do could stop that Watt coming unless you can get the chill off from your Ice Dragons, which is exactly what's happening. But again, Iceman too busy on the commit, and that's what that 1-2 combo is so deadly for. Watt forces Iceman into the hot pocket, not where you want to be, not where Misango's doing this kind of thing. The mask is going to get wrestled away though, and Iceman with rush available does have the health lead, but they cannot afford to allow Riffa to run riot on the stage, and the blue mask is on as well. Extra speed for Misango as they just hop and bounce around. The Cracker and the Raw are working beautifully, but finally Iceman is getting some form of control in this match, but again gets caught with the Megawatt. Thankfully for them, not shocked yet. But having said that, Iceman is on the cusp of being KO'd here. Finally gets another charged up hot hit onto Riffa. Both are very close to their respective KOs, and Iceman, I thought initially got away with it, but again gets caught on the rebound. And the Cracker is going to catch Iceman as well. 2 amazing reads from Riffa. Riffa has been behind in every single set in this tournament today and has came back each and every time. And from 2-0 down, they have taken Iceman out by 3 points to 2. The reverse sweep is complete and they are into the grand finals. Oh, what are you all doing today? Every time someone gives the chat hope that Riffa is not going to win it this time, Riffa just keeps on coming. And once again, Riffa is gonna be the person to beat. Alistair has taken out Okram in the underground bracket in the midst of all of this. Beating Okram by 2 points to 0. They are in the underground semi-final. Will it be Yam or will it be Nihilus who will be taking them on once we get there? There'll be one more best of 3 match to come. After that, it will then be best of 5s from start to finish. Oh my goodness. It gives us a chance to have a little bit of a breather there. So, ooh, nice, calm breather. If you haven't done so already, now would be a time to get a drink because we're absolutely going to need it. I would cut to a break here, but given the fact that Alistair and Okram's match is done, Yam and Nihilus won't be too far behind of that, you would think. So I feel like the second I click the intermission button, they'll likely finish. But also it's a risk that I'm willing to take because I feel like we are definitely going to need it. So when we come back, we'll have top 4 on the horizons. We've got one. No sooner have I said that, they do indeed finish, and Nihilus unfortunately cannot contest for top 3. They did so well earlier, but alas, it's just not to be. Yam has taken them down by 2 points to 0. And as a result, the underground semi-final will be this. It will be contested between Alistair and Yam. There we go. So, who are we all backing then? Who are we backing to make it into top 3? Both of these two have been here before. Like I said, we are robbed of the situation where we had someone fighting for top 3 for the first time, which was Nihilus. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen here. But we've still got a very interesting prospect on the cards. Alistair has made it into top 3 twice, finishing 3rd once and finishing 2nd once. Yam has finished 3rd 3 times and 2nd twice, so they've been in the top 3 5 times. The crucial difference here is that Alistair's last appearance in the top 3 was Cup 56. It was 3 cups ago. Yam's last top 3 appearance was a little bit more recent. It was 57, which was 2 cups ago. But in terms of the last time they were in the final, Yam hasn't been in the grand final since the 39th cup. So that's 20 events ago. A long time has passed since then. So we're going to see if Yam can take out Alistair and book their ticket back into a shot to do so, or if we are going to see Alistair just change things up just a little bit. Remember, if Yam does take out Alistair, it will be a rematch between Yam and Iceman in the underground final. If Alistair wins, then Alistair's about to add to their tally. And it also means that it will be themselves versus Iceman. So we'll soon find out how this all plays out. It looks like we are going to have ourselves Buster Beach to make the initial appearance in this segment. And a quick little shout out to the fact that we've got Mimo in the chat as well. Unfortunately, I'm between you and Fami. Unfortunately, I'm not able to understand what the pair of you are saying, but it is an honor to have you here, and hopefully you are enjoying your time with us and enjoying the action. Yam is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen, and Alistair is going to be on the right. Lollipop versus Coil on Buster Beach. And away we go. Coil coming in with the Tri-Blast and, and the nade. But they're not going to utilize it anyway because Yam straight up gets the Sparky shot and not going to give Alistair the chance to do anything with that. And again, the Tri-Blast that we saw work so well against Alistair's Coil in their set against Riffa, already at full work, making sure that Coil does not stay in that air as long as they would like to. Nade, once again, an unguided glove. Oh, manual position, and Alistair's not going to get any of that in the blast. Whilst the initial bolts did miss, the explosion at the very least does catch Coil and take them out of the rush. And Yam just going to waddle on forward with the inflatable shield that Lollipop gives. And it's just not allowing Alistair any kind of purchase. The rush is going to come through on 275 damage and catches with the bolt as well on the wake up. Alistair is just a poke away from going down, and this will be a very good lead for Yam to build off of if they can find their mark. With 30 seconds left on the clock, you feel like it's only a matter of time, but the one place you don't want to be is that hot pocket, and the double nades come ringing on out. But unfortunately for Alistair, it's all for naught as they slide elegantly into the oncoming bolts of Yam, who gives them the initiative. And we are going to see the fun chuck coming out now for Alistair, who immediately closes the gap and does not allow Yam to get any kind of waddling on nature that they would like to bring to the table. Fun chuck bounces off the shield on this occasion though, and Yam is okay to just hold back and allow Coil to just sort of like double commit to these punches. And does have rush available, a nice little cheeky trade. Alistair again with a commit, but does get the shield up in time. So chip damage and nothing more for Yam on this occasion. And rush back up and ready to go for Alistair. Arm slightly weak there on the right hand side. It does fade away, and the rush is going to come out, but Yam tried to go for the jump dodge, but it's not going to happen. Immediately into that rush and put Yam into critical condition. The arm change for Alistair and a slight change of playstyle definitely working out for them here. And Yam is just not able to keep up with this anymore. Arm weak on the right hand side. Alistair could force a shield break if it continues to hit. And Yam is determined to see it fade away. It does. And just about avoids the grab as well. But the nades are going to catch up to them. And the triple threat of Coil finally wrestles that point away. One apiece here, and Yam going to make a switch of their own. We've got a Scorpia coming out. And Alistair goes with the starting rush. I don't think Yam was initially not prepared for it. Managed to get away with the first hit, but does take 185 in the end. And the nade explosion just catapults Yam to the other side of the stage. The Scorpion, much like the Chucks, do have two ways of attacking the Scorpion scuttling on the ground, which you will probably not see for Yam on this occasion. Rush comes out, but nothing but chip damage there. And again, already down past the halfway mark. The explosion gonna wrestle the initiative away, and another rush is gonna roll Yam right out of contention. And Alistair is going to take the point away. Yam had such an amazing start, but Coil just laughs in the face of that, and she will take that point for Alistair. And as we prepare ourselves for match number 2, it's all for Yam to play for here if they want to try and go for this win, to try and come back into top 3. They're going to have to do everything they can to bring this Coil down. Remember that between these two, neither of these players have ever won this cup. The winner of this will face 12-time winner Iceman in the Underground final. And then you have the 14-time winner of Riffa in the Grand Final. There's a lot still to play for, but crucially, you want that last step on the podium. It's great coming back into the top 4, but it's the podium positions that you know are so crucial here. Via and DNA are going to be banned from Alistair, so what will Yam decide to pick? I certainly don't think Alistair will be switching character anytime soon. We saw them try out Mechanica at Sparring Ring, but it was just to no prevail there. They did have some really good moments with the hammer combination. I will give them that. The Whammer on Mechanica doing pretty damn well, must be said. We are going to see Scrapyard make an appearance in the stream today. That is going to be the pick. I think both are ready to go. Obviously, Yam's not going to change out. Yam is very much always locked into the min-min. So it's really just a case of, will we see arm changes going forward here? The Scorpio was a pretty interesting choice, but Alistair was quick to shut that down every time it got going. And it is going to be min-min versus Coil again. And Coil will like the stage a lot. We're going to see that fun chuck again and the nade in the back. We are definitely not seeing the Scorpio. I had a feeling that would be the case. Roaster and Ice Dragon for Yam. They're going to see if they can use the wonderful differentiation stage layout of Scrapyard to use the Dragon well here, as the Roaster gets a good first hit in. Immediately floors Alistair just like the nade. It is unguided, so both with an unguided arm. But the difference is that Alistair is bringing the fun chuck, whereas Yam is bringing the straight up lasering goodness of the Ice Dragon. Both dancing around the 2 pillars in the middle for the time being. And again, you see Alistair gravitating towards the higher ground every time they have a chance to do so. But they're also not afraid to just hang in the middle as well, putting on the pressure, not allowing Yam to utilize the Dragon. You just see Yam having to wait it out. The Dragon comes out, but it's not going to have any impact. 330 from Alistair immediately sends Yam into the other corner. And suddenly Yam is having to fight back from the ground up. Shield comes out from Coil. No harm done indeed. And that's going to be a wasted rush for Yam, who has to fight from the low ground again. Gets a really good poke with the Roaster. And again, gets 2 in a row. You love to see that happen. And Alistair having to quickly rethink their strategy a little bit here. They cannot afford to allow that Roaster to keep going by uncontested. Remember, it is on the Dragon arm. It's very crucial that Alistair finds a way to shut that down as soon as possible. Ice Dragon going to come out, but it's not going to get the charge. And again, the Roaster square between the eyes. That grab, no avail again. And the rush comes out. And Yam has turned this match completely on its head. Alistair goes for the rush and tries to turn this away, but actually gets walled out. But they take it anyway with 1 second to go. I thought Alistair had lost their chance when they just walled the rush off the top part of the ledge, but they got a crucial nade explosion and just swung it with seconds to go. And it gives themselves the initiative, the point that they need to try to get through into the top 3 with. Dragon arm up on the Roaster as Yam tries everything they can to get back into this match. They nearly swung that point and gave them the start that they needed. But Alistair just proven to be that little bit more frustrating. Both with rush pretty much ready to go. Alistair's not going to get any purchase on that whatsoever. Again, it was just the initial ledge that stopped it, and then the shield was already up for Yam, who now finally does have that rush up and ready to go. But the nade is going to wrestle control away, make that 2 nades in a row for Alistair, who is not going to allow Yam to get anything in this. The Dragon is still up and does catch the cold, so it just immediately just brings Alistair straight to the floor. And the rush in midair. Beautiful play there from Yam. Caught Alistair completely by surprise, and it puts the Coil into critical, and the Roaster is going to take them down as well. Rush will come out though. Beautifully done there from Alistair. They anticipated Yam going for the commitment. This is all to play for here. As Alistair just misses with the fun chuck, it goes off to the side. Yam cannot afford to take another bite of damage, and they slide into the nade. It was the wrong way to go. A good read from Alistair in the end. That was incredibly close, but it will be Alistair who will take the victory by 2 points to 0. But that was oh so close. Yam will not make it into top 3. They will just miss out. It was so close in the end, but unfortunately it will be Alistair who will take that top 3 spot. So, for the 3rd time ever, Alistair has made it into top 3. So, will it be a 2nd time finishing 3rd? Or will it be a 2nd time finishing 2nd? Or will it be the 1st ever win for Alistair? We're going to find out as Alistair prepares themselves to go up against seeded number 2 and 12-time winner Iceman in the underground final. From here on in, it's best of 5s until it's over. Whatever happens, it will be a rematch. Because if Iceman wins, it'll be a rematch between themselves and River from winner's final. If Alistair wins, not only will it be a monumental upset, but it will also then lead to a rematch of the of the semi-final, which was also between River and Alistair. So, the 14-time winner and reigning champ awaits in the grand final. I hope you're all sitting comfortably. The bands have started. And whilst we await for them to do, I will again say commiserations to Yam. That last second hit from Alistair in that point completely took it away from them. I thought they'd done a heck of a good job come back in from that. But then that jump just unfortunately sealed their fate. You hate to see things like that happen. But like I said, that's what happens. Even at your top game, your A game, when you've been doing this for so long, top players still make mistakes. It's a thing that happens. It happens to everyone. Underground final is starting up. Coil for Alistair on the left-hand side. The nade and the Funchuck coming in against Iceman's Min Min. Trying to look for revenge, coming in with that big old glove. Look at that glove. It's a non-elemental one. So it's there for damage and nothing more. But they've at least got the toaster alongside so they can try and burn through Coil and keep them grounded as best they can. But the nades are just catching Iceman out. 2 in a row on those explosion counts. And again, Alistair waits for both of the gloves to fully commit to them before just cancelling them with the rush and wailing Iceman all the way down. And that was a quick and fiery start from Alistair, who is not hanging around. They want to try and go for their first win in this cup. They are doing everything in their power, but Iceman is definitely not out of this yet. Immediately straight back in with a rush of their own. But again, the nade just hits and explodes in your face, and you just feel helpless the second it connects. And Alistair just trying to be as much of a demon in the air as possible. I mean, it's pretty much what Coil is known for. Just that aerial superiority as the chucks come raining down once again. The nade with the finishing touch. And Iceman, just like that, is in critical condition. The rush at the start was great, but Alistair has shrugged that off nicely. And Min Min just can't get any purchase here. They've got a rush of their own if they want to try and go for a tasty twofer. It's probably going to be the only way back into this from here. And Iceman knows it too. Going to come straight on fire with that 240. Puts Alistair on the cusp of critical, who is only looking for a couple more punches of their own. And the toaster is going to find the mark. And Alistair is going to start with the initial point. Back to the lab goes Alistair in glee as they have the lead over seeded number 2 Iceman. And as we've seen so far in this tournament, this has been the story of how it's been so far, where we've seen upsets potentially in the making, only for everything to just flick back the other way. Like, just because you have a lead does not mean you're going to go on to win. I mean, we've seen it with Riffer's sets from start to finish. Riffer has always lost the first match in their respective sets today and then gone on to win. So, you never know. But for Alistair, this is the best start they could have asked for. They weathered the storm, especially on that second point where Iceman started with a vengeance, coming in with that rush and sealing it. To be fair to Iceman, scored both of the rushes, but Alistair had done so much damage in between those two rushes that it almost got negated. And Iceman is going to say, you know what? Okay. Sparring ring, ribbon ring. This will be a very different matchup here. Both of these characters are agile in their own ways here. Alistair, we know, has aerial superiority with coil, but Ribbon Girl has it too, and those double jumps are really going to test Alistair's aiming capabilities. And not only that, Iceman has some explosive gloves of their own, Nade and Triblast, and immediately catching Alistair out with every single hit that's going here. Would you look at this? But finally Alistair pops that back onto the other side, saying, okay, you got the bolt, I know this, I know what I'm doing with this somewhat. And the double chucks are still putting Ribbon in a lot of pressure here. Those nades are still catching Iceman here, and unfortunately they jumped the wrong way. Jumped straight into the path of the oncoming rush, and Alistair, just like that, has turned this point around. But they also had a mistake of their own. They dropped the shield when they didn't need to, and Iceman gets a free rush back at them, and the nade comes through as well. Iceman looking for one more punch, double commits with the blast and the nade, and scores with both. A very frantic and energetic scrap there, but it's going to go the way of Iceman for the initial part, as Alistair now looks to bring in the same arms. It is literally an arm ditto, both with the tri-bolt, the tri-blast, both with the nades, but crucially it'll be Alistair who has a third one at their disposal. So it'll either be 2 bolts or 2 nades, and they do get the rush again on Iceman. Didn't get the finishing blow, which was very interesting to see. That Ribbon Girl did not get flung at all there, and as a result just came straight back on the charge, and immediately has just opted out right to the side, and not allowing Alistair to get any further purchase. Shield will be up. Destroys the shield in the end, so decent damage, but not as much as they would like to, and Alistair comes back with a blast of their own, and just see how quick both of these two fighters are going at it. Alistair dropped the shield but dashes right into the nade. Tries to go for the rush, but it's not going to happen on this occasion, and Iceman gets the punish as well. But does manage to find a nade of their own, and we know Alistair has been able to bring it back of their own accord, but the nades and the tri-blast are proven to be just a little too much for Alistair, and again, they dropped their shield. They dropped the shield before the explosion had fully gone. And it is going to catch Alistair out, and here we go again, my friends. It's one apiece. Oh dear. The woes of dropping the shield at the worst possible moment, and unfortunately for Alistair, they did it quite a fair amount of times in that match. You hate to see it, but that is just the way it goes. Like, the amount of times that you think that the explosion has gone, it's settled in, you drop the shield, and the game goes, actually, it was not quite finished, and you just get tagged by the explosion. It's unfortunate, to say the very least, but these are the things that do happen here, and this is the wonderful world of arms that we swim around in. And with that, it is going to be one apiece from the pair of them. Iceman just... they needed that. They absolutely needed that. And to be fair, Alistair was keeping them in check. Even though Iceman was starting to run wild with it, Alistair was still getting a good couple of hits in there, but there's a lot of moments in that second point that you felt like there were one too many mistakes from Alistair. The final punch on the rush not going through was unfortunate, to say the least, but we are going to see Temple Grounds make an appearance. And both pretty much going to stick with their same artillery here. Are they both going to stick with the same arms? They certainly are. Oh, are they not? No, yes, no. Alistair making us guess all the way up until the end that it will be Tri-Blast versus Nade again between the two. Again, the only difference is that they're on different arms and Coil can have a second one if she so wishes. And as our pillar dancing begins and Ribbon Girl makes herself a much harder target to hit, finally does get caught by the bolt, which can work against Ribbon just as much as they work against Coil. And so far, Alistair not giving Iceman the time and the range that they would like, and just keeping Ribbon Girl on the ground as much as they can. And again, another successful hit with the bolt, just leading into the double explosion between the blast and the nade as they ping on through again, this time uncontested, both with rush ready to go, and it's going to be Alistair who pops first, going to swing on in with 370 damage, pretty much a near perfect for Alistair, literally a pixel perfect match right there. Just took a little bit of chip damage, I think, towards the earlier end. Otherwise, that would have been the first perfect of the stream today. But for Alistair, they took the initiative. They needed that. And Iceman will now have to fight from behind once again. And the blast just catching them just as they went for the jump. You hate to see things like that happen. And Alistair completely taking over that central platform and the high ground. Finally, Iceman reverts it and puts Coil in the corner, but couldn't quite get the punish. And neither could they get the rush. They got the initial poke in, but Alistair was just a little too far to the left and got the shield up in the nick of time. Goes for the wake up, and unfortunately Iceman drops into it. Iceman initially had it avoided, but they fell right back into the lapping arms of the Tri-Blast and the nade, and Iceman finds themselves in critical condition already. The explosions are just too much for Iceman here. Another successful bolt hit, thankfully not charged, but that one was, and Alistair is looking for just one more hit. Somehow the bolt didn't land there, but the rush certainly will, and Alistair is 2-1 up in Underground Final. Will Coil have the last laugh? Or will Iceman rise again? We're going to find out as match number 4 will be coming up between these two. It's 2-1 to Alistair. Naturally, Alistair gets the ban the next 2 stages, and Iceman will pick. I don't know whether it was the stage or just the playstyle that Alistair was bringing on into, but it just felt like Iceman was just getting caught out every now and then by those bolts. I mean, we've seen the bolts work beautifully against Coil, but remember, the bolts are there because they are horizontal, because they can take out characters who love being in the air as much, or like to try and do their wonderful side-to-side dodges as they do. It works on Ribbon Girl just as much as it does on Coil, and Iceman knows what their comfortable pick is. It is going to be Sparring Ring, so Alistair, on one hand, will be fine with this, knowing they can go into a stage that they're comfortable with afterwards, but if they can end it here and now, they would be very happy with that. Sparring Ring is going to be the call once again. Both are going to come in with the Tri-Blast and the nade. Nothing is switching from there. We'll see if Alistair has learned much from their previous fight in Sparring Ring. Or will Ribbon Girl be able to continue running circles around Coil in this tiny confined space? And the answer so far is not as much as they would have liked to in the previous one. The explosion does catch Alistair, but it doesn't knock them out this time around. And again, because they both have explosive arms, it's so easy to call self-destruct on top of self-destruct. And Alistair is not going to allow Iceman to run away with this too much. Although having said that, they do find themselves underneath halfway already. Both go for the rush. Both got the initial trade, but it's Iceman who gets the better of it in the end. That was a very interesting moment there where they both actually hit, but it was Iceman who got the better purchase of the rush. And somehow both missing each other. I think the explosion caught Iceman in the end there, and Alistair managed to shield underneath there, but just didn't have the wherewithal to go for the punch of their own. Gets caught by the Tri-Blast, sent into the corner. One more hit will take this for Iceman, but they get pegged into the corner and caught again by the Tri-Blast as they go for the jump into recovery. And Iceman is having none of that. They knew that Alistair was going to commit to that again, and just went, you know what, I'm using Rush now. I am not allowing you to get back into this match and take this point away from me. But it does mean that Alistair will start with the rush and immediately catches Iceman with the nade. And it's actually coming in with the Fun Chuck, but rushed too early. Iceman was already on the move, and that is rush denied from Alistair, who just about gets away with that explosion there. And you see Alistair trying to change the playstyle a little bit, trying to close in the gap and be a little bit more aggressive, but Iceman isn't afraid to just fling in these explosive blows. As long as they can hit and trigger the explosion, they can still catch Alistair out, and the nade is going to wall them out as well. Tries to close in the gap, forces the bait on the shield and gets the grab in the process. Now here comes the rush, but the shield will come up in time for Alistair, and they've got everything to do if they want to try and seal this. Now they rush through again, but again, Ribbon Girl in such a closed space is easily able to just nip around Coil and not give them the chance to get back into this. We're going to match 5, my friends, as Iceman takes this point by 2 points to 0, and it's 2-2 in Underground Finals. So where to now? Temple Grounds and Scrapyard banned immediately from Iceman. They do not want Temple Grounds come back up after what happened last time around, and Scrapyard is just like, you don't want to face Coral and Scrapyard. You just don't want to do that. So for Alistair, they're going to pick DNA Lab. Now this is going to be an interesting decision here. It's a lot bigger stage. It allows Coil to have a lot of movement, but at the same time it allows Ribbon Girl to have a lot of movements as well. So it's gonna come down to placement more than anything here, because Iceman has been able to prove so far that they're able to just outwall with the nade and the Triblast as well. But you know Alistair, they'll want to try and hang back, charge up that third arm, and then let hell descend, because that's just what they do. But they've got 6 tubes to play around with now, and remember the same can be said for Iceman, who is just as agile a character as ever. You know, it's Ribbon Girl. What do you expect? This is for a place of Grand Final. Can Alistair win and book their ticket into Grand Final for only the 2nd time, it must be said, or will Iceman make sure that it is a winners only final? We are going to find out. Hydra is coming out for Alistair alongside the nade. This is going to be an interesting decision. And if you thought Ribbon Girl hated the Triblast, well, now you got 3 vertical bolts coming instead. So this will be very interesting to see how Alistair plays this. Immediately tries to play the aggressive card, but Ribbon Girl is having none of it. Iceman is determined to make this a fully all-star grand final, but Alistair wants to get the surprise. They want the upset so badly. They're flinging everything at the table, but nothing is sticking as much as they'd like to. They do force the self-destruct there and rushes through the explosion, but whilst they did tag Iceman initially, the rest of the rush does not follow on through. And now they'll have to be very careful of what Iceman decides to go for here. And look at the elevation that Coil has got, thanks to the little upper elevation from the steps, and just blocks through the oncoming arms and has enough time to shield out as well. So this might turn things on its head as they wall blast through another blast attempt, but the nade finally does catch them, and Alistair needs to think about what they want to do here. 30 seconds on the clock. Iceman is not allowing them to get close enough to try and capitalize. They go for the rush, but it's straight into the tube. They really should have held on to that. They do get an initial knockdown on Iceman, but with 17 seconds left on the clock, you feel like this is Iceman's to lose here. I don't think there's anything really Alistair could do. They'll go taken down by the bolts, and it's set point for Iceman. Iceman has rushed. All of the advantages point to Ribbon Girl. Nade and Funchuck are gonna be the order of the day, and Iceman gets the rush as well. 280 puts Alistair on the back foot. They've got it all to do if they want to upset the order here, as Iceman is just not going to have anything to say about this now. Bolts just flying off to the side as Alistair can't quite get the consistent hits they're looking for. Rush is available and they are going to utilize it now. They do block out Iceman and get damage on the board, but again, Look at how much damage has already been done. But now trying to go in for the aggressive nature. But again, arm weak on the left-hand side. Iceman has rush. And here it comes. And that is KO. That is KO. And Iceman, having been down consistently in that set, is going to win by 3 points to 2. We will not have a potential brand new winner. It will be between Riffa and Iceman in the end for grand finals. And Alistair just missing out in the end. Okay. So, I do apologize for that. I don't know what happened there. I got a connection issue, so just making sure that everything was fine before the microphone came back on. We are geared up and ready for the grand finals of the 59th EU Arms Competitive Cup. I didn't even do my title correctly. Wow, that's not like me. So, that is definitely not the character that I generally pick. So I know it doesn't really matter, but I do like to make sure that I have Mechanica on screen. So, here is how this is going to work. And I should probably make sure that I list this accordingly to make sure that everybody knows what is happening. So, Riffa is going into this having not lost a set so far today. Iceman is going in as the underdog, essentially. They will have to win 2 best of 5 sets if they wish to take Riffa out and take the cup for their own. Riffa, meanwhile, is going to come in with Mechanica, because that's just what Riffa does at this point. Scully and Nade is going to be the call for Riffa to go up against Iceman and the Min Min that we have seen oh so many times today, and it's going to be the Sparky and the Ice Dragon. And so far, Riffa is going to have a bit of a shocking time. The Sparky is not going to allow them to get any kind of consistent movements on there, and neither will the Dragon, and just about manages to get away with being frozen. Iceman, I don't think quite expected to be in that place there, and suddenly Riffa is going to keep Iceman at a level pace here, showing full well that they can indeed use other characters outside of Misango and Riffa. The Scully, a very quick and lightweight arm. If it can poke on through, it can and will just leave those poison stacks, and Min Min is not going to appreciate that, but is going to shrug it off immediately with that rush, catching Riffa in the hot pocket, and now is just a punch away from taking this match. Unfortunately for Mechanica there, the nade just bouncing off the bottom platform, and Iceman will take the initiative and see if they can wrestle in a little bit more of a comeback here. Grab attempt trying to go through. Riffa did deny it, but the nade, because it isn't a fully guided arm, just missing Min Min. But that's okay, because the rush certainly didn't, and pins Iceman into the hot pocket. So turnabout is fair play, but the shock is going to come out. Patiently waited there from Iceman, who sends Riffa straight back up onto the top platform, but it's inadvertently moved back towards them. The last thing you want to do is for Mechanica, especially a heavyweight character, to just force you back down there and try to wall you out in that pocket. Dragon and Sparky just bouncing off the shield for the time being, and Riffa just trying to get into a little bit of a motion here to try and start throwing Iceman off their game, and another 1-2 punch coming up. That Whammer is starting to prove a bit more formidable here. Just about misses with the little knockback, but the nade again sends Iceman all the way back down, and Riffa, if they can, will try to hold on to this rush, and it's instead decided, you know what, no, I'm not allowing you to have that Sparky hit. You're not coming back into this. We will take this to match number 3. But crucially, Iceman will start with the rush advantage. So we'll see at what point they decide to go all in with their commitment. Does get a quick chain with the Dragon and gets the grab as well. Riffa committed to the resistance, and Iceman catches them by surprise. See if they can wall them into the hot pocket. The answer is yes, they can. 365 damage. Iceman pretty much barely taking any damage here. Another freeze, but finally the 1-2 hit takes Iceman down, and now it's Riffa's turn to start walling on in. Can they catch Min Min? Yes, they can. Oh no, they can't. They got the stun, but the rush apparently didn't make it in time, and Iceman holds on, but the nade again. That nade Whammer pressure is starting to rack up. Arm weak on the right hand side. Will it fade away in time? Just about, as Riffa drops into critical. Rush is going to come out. Will it break the shield? I think Riffa had a feeling it might. That's why they started to move in fear that it would do so. And there it goes. But the nade just about gets away with it. Riffa somehow survives. They are only one poke away. They're going to go for the rush, but it's not going to connect. Iceman's going to get away with it. That was Iceman's time to take that away, and finally the finishing blow comes out, but that very, very nearly cost them. But Riffa will go down, and Iceman will take the initiative, and well, that pretty much confirms that Riffa has been behind in every set so far. Riffa loses the first point in yet another set, but as we've seen in every match so far today, Riffa has just came right back on round every time that happens. We are going to be staying on Buster Beach, and to be fair to Riffa, really making the Whammer work. You'd love to see that happen, and Riffa is going to switch. We're staying on Buster Beach, but we're going to have another heavyweight character on display. Now it is time for Master Mummy to make an appearance. We've got the Retorture. Oh yeah, that Bill Buff is back again. Time for some more non-elemental glove shenanigans. And immediately, well, we're going to see a very big speed differential here. Mummy definitely one of the more slower characters in this game. But if you allow Mummy to grab you, you'll absolutely know about it, because it's one of the bigger grab damages in this game. Of that there is no doubt. And so far, just allowing the Dragon to just do its thing. Sparky isn't gonna quite get the connection that Iceman would like, and obviously Mummy does have the ability where if they do have the shield up for a prolonged period of time, they will start healing themselves, but Iceman's not going to care about that. But the Sparky shock proving to be a little bit more of an annoyance for Iceman there, as they got the shot, went for the rush, but by the time it went, Riffa got the shield up in time and converts a rush of their own. And now they have shield up, and they're just allowing themselves to heal back up little by little. And Iceman kind of gave them the chance to do that there. And the Retorture manages to fire on through. Those prolonged burst bolts are catching Iceman off guard, and suddenly Riffa has turned this around beautifully here. They're just looking for one more poke. They will get it with the torch, and they have Rush ready to go into the next point. And Riffa has the advantage going in here. They're going to bring in a Dragon of their own. They're going to drop the Retorture, and has to quickly punch out that Sparky, but unfortunately they are going to get caught again. Min Min gets another Sparks up hit. As long as it can go through, they're absolutely fine. But the Dragon does nothing. 335. Riffa continues to rush on through. They'll heal up a little bit more. Note that they don't really put the pressure straight onto Min Min. They'll choose to heal rather than anything else. They'll let Iceman come to them instead. And the Dragon again with that power just catching them out. But now it's Riffa's turn. Caught in the hot pocket. They really shouldn't have committed to that punch. But here comes the slam. 200 damage from the grab. Like I said, you will know it if you get grabbed. And that is a punched through shield as well. And just like that, Riffa turns it right back around. Goodness me. It's one apiece. And once again, Riffa just proving that he can play whichever character he wants. I couldn't quite make it work with Mechanica, but the Master Mummy, again, it's just like, you just don't flinch to a whole lot of things, which is why when you saw that laser going through, it was just like, yeah, it's not fire. It doesn't really matter to a character like Master Mummy. It just phases on through it. We're at the Mausoleum and we are about to have a Lola Pop Ditto. Sparky and the Lockjaw coming out for Riffa. Meanwhile, Iceman going to come in with the Popper and the Scorpio. So we've got some very interesting arm dynamics here. And Iceman gets caught with the Sparky immediately. Riffa, thankfully, could not capitalize on it. But that's okay because the Sparky's going to just find a blow anyway. And the Lockjaw, one of those special wonderful one of those special arms where it can fire out a fireball and then follow in with the rest of the punch. This gives your opponent that little extra thing to negotiate. Riffa getting poison that can go up to a stack of 3, but unfortunately Iceman could not make it so, and the Sparky is going to get the shock. Rush is going to come out. Couldn't quite get the second juggle there, but it gives Riffa the health lead, and they're just looking for a couple more punches here. If they can find a Sparky here, it will pretty much secure them the KO of that. There is no doubt. So Iceman just trying to play it strategically here, trying to get Riffa into a position where they could potentially KO and juggle on up, especially if the Popper does hit. It would be a great chance to do so, and they're going to just shove it anyway. 345 leaves the stack of poison on them as well. So Riffa has to be very careful here that this does not count against them in the grand scheme of things. The Scorpio is going to find its hit. It's not enough to KO, so Riffa has to be very careful here because all Iceman needs is one more hit, knowing that that Popper was coming, and they are going to catch Iceman out. They should have just shielded out the rest of it. They tried to get a little creative with it, but they're going to get caught and walled out in the end. And we are going to see a little bit of a switch up from both sides. The Ram is coming out for Riffa, so we've got that curved arm tool. And immediately starts with the grab. 155 flings Iceman straight into the side. Meanwhile, they're going to stick with the Pop and the Scorpio, seeing if they can make this work a second time around. So far, it's going to be Iceman who tries to stay in the center stage, but Riffa is not bothered about it in the slightest. Both with Rush ready to be deployed. Lockjaw going to sail on past Iceman's left-hand side. And what is Riffa's idea here? The Popper is still trying to outspeed through, but again, as long as the Lockjaw can at least hit the Popper, it'll just negate it completely. And the Ram just trying to get around the outside of the Scorpio, and they find their mark. Look at the damage! 430 from a combination of the Ram and the Lockjaw. Iceman is just a punch away from anything from going down here. The Ram bounces off the shield, but it gives Riffa the chance to double commit. And from 1-0 down, Riffa is now 2-1 up in the grand final and looking to extend their record winning ways to 15 cups. Iceman has got to do everything he can to get this away from Riffa, who I will say has changed to Ninjara. You know Riffa wants this win. We're back into Mausoleum. Ninjara versus Ribbon Gull. Iceman has to win to keep their championship dreams alive. And away we go for match number 4 of the grand final. Triblast and Ice Dragon for Riffa going up against the hottest of slaps and that nade from Iceman. Again, immediately causing the self-destruct. You saw it there as clear as day. The dragon just catches the nade, forces the explosion, and Iceman could do nothing about it. And look at the chain. Riffa already has rushed up. Iceman's only just past the halfway mark. And Riffa, again, the confidence, knowing full well what to do. Ninjara is his main for a reason. Iceman in critical condition finally gets a hit in with the nade and has rushed, but they've got quite a lot to do here to try and chalk this back. The dragon just sails past Ribbon's head as they bounce ever so cautiously. They want to try and force Riffa into any mistake possible here. Anything to give them a chance back into this. Just about stepping away from the laser, but the blast is going to catch up to them. And Riffa has what is essentially 2 championship points. Triblast on both sides. The windiest of slams for Riffa. It's the nade once again for Iceman. And immediately gets pegged down not once but twice by Riffa. Both have rush ready to go. And that slam is just unrelentless. But finally the nade finds a way through Riffa's disguise. And the rush lands as well. 340 puts Riffa on the cusp of critical. Make that into critical. Iceman now playing for their life. Playing for this championship. And the blasts will poke on through. Riffa did not muster up much aggression once that play had started. And now it's just the 1 championship point that Riffa has here. Ice Dragon is going to come out alongside that slam as Iceman sticks with the full explosive goodness of the Triblast and the nade. As they hop on around for dear life, the dragon not going to get any purchase here on Mausoleum at this point. And look at how quickly Iceman has rushed back up onto speed dial. This is an impressive showing from Iceman as another wall of explosions just keeps Riffa at bay, who's just suddenly not able to get back into contention here. Nade and Triblast just about missing on this occasion, both with the trade, but it's crucial that Riffa got the chill when he did, but it still puts him in KO range of Iceman's rush if they so wish to deploy it. Remember that Riffa can't properly shield it, so it would be all movements and nothing else, but it's not going to happen because the rush will come out and Iceman breathes a sigh of relief. It is 2-2 in the grand finals. It is not over yet. Iceman needs to win this to take this to a reset. Iceman is going to ban Buster Beach and Viados, and Riffa, determined to get that win on Mausoleum, is going to pick the same stage. The question now will be, will we see a slight arm tweakage? The answer, not really. Triblast, Ice Dragon, and the Slam still in that combination for Riffa. It is going to be the Triblast and the Dragon coming out. Iceman's certainly not going to switch anything. Why switch something that ain't broke? It's absolutely fine the way it is. But they are going to get pegged by that Dragon. They won't want Riffa to start running wild with that. But Riffa, again, going to catch another successful Dragon poke into the self-destruct. And suddenly Iceman is having to play a slightly different style here. Riffa mixing up how they are doing things. Finally gets caught by the blast. Followed in by... So the nade followed in by the blast. My bad. But Riffa is okay to do the same. They've got the same explosive bolty goodness that Iceman has. And the Dragon is just... It's always so scary to look at the second Riffa has that as a rush. And the second you see the momentum swinging towards their side, you know if the Dragon hits on that rush, it's practically curtains. 50 seconds on the clock. Iceman remains in the central platform. Not going to get caught by their self-destruct this time around. Riffa, however, gets caught. Just jumped right on in to a pit full of explosions. But has Iceman on the cusp of critical pretty much. Will they choose to hold on to the rush? It looks like they're going to do so. Iceman is only a punch away pretty much from going down here. Riffa just needs to find one more hit to pop themselves into championship position yet again. 20 seconds. Iceman knows they have to make a move, and they need to make it now, because the dragon is going to lick right across their heart. And once again, 2 championship points for Riffa. Same combination is going to come out. Neither of these players want to switch up anything. Both trade each other there with their respective blows. And Iceman baits out the rush perfectly from Riffa, using Ribbon Girl's agility to just get out of harm's way and take in with the rest of their rush. But now they're starting to get caught out by Riffa again. Just between the laser and the horizontal bolt, Iceman has to be so careful which way they decide to commit. If one of them catches them, Riffa will capitalize. And the trampoline is out. And neither of these players will really mind that too much, but Ninjara will sense an opportunity to try and seal this up. They're a long way back health-wise, but the Ice Dragon can now just rain on in uncontested unless Iceman can close the gap. But to do that, they'll have to risk the trampoline. Although having said that, the blasts are making up for that anyway. Both have rush ready to go. Riffa is very much in KO range. Iceman not even close to it. They've only just nipped down the halfway mark themselves. Iceman choosing to shield and out. Not going to take the bait for the grab attempt. Riffa is just a point from going down. Literally 1 HP for Riffa. Anything will KO at this point. Literally anything. And whilst it is championship points still for Riffa, it is reset point for Iceman. What will be the call here? Riffa, well, not going to change it. If in the trampoline's out, it should be advantageous for them. But Iceman won't care because they're going to try and bait out another attempt from Riffa. If they can wall on out another rush, there will be a great moment for Iceman to really sink their teeth into this championship picture. Riffa gets caught out with the explosion. Iceman tried to maintain the high ground and now has a free chance again to do so. Riffa is just looking for anything to bait out. The explosion caught them. The Tri-Blast explosion stops Iceman in their tracks. And now it's Riffa who wants to try and play the mind games here. They have the rush ready to go, but it's all a question of can they find a moment where Ribbon Girl is not moving as much or is on their way down, having fully committed. The Tri-Blast again gonna attach itself to Ninjara and explode in his face. 45 seconds to go. Iceman's consistency has paid off. They've got rush right back up, and Riffa is in KO range of Iceman's rush. It's almost like there's nothing Ninjara can do about this. Rush is coming out. That's a KO. It's a reset. The set has gone the distance, and Iceman has forced a bracket reset. We are going the distance. The reset is on. Allowing Ribbon Girl full space with that trampoline. There was nothing Ninjara could do. Every single time Ribbon Girl utilized it, it was just like, in the grand scheme of things, sure, Ninjara probably doesn't mind. But Iceman played that annoyingly well, it must be said, not allowing Riffa the chance to get back into that. Whilst they did have the utility of the dragon, Iceman had all of the agility in the world, and Ribbon Girl is just... yeah. Don't take Ribbon Girl to the trampoline, you will regret it. Bracket reset is up then. Riffa and their championship is on the line, as Riffa gonna switch on into Misango. Cracker and Megawatt will be the call to go up against the hottest of slaps from Iceman and that nade, that ever so trustworthy nade. Yellow Mask coming up, but immediately discarded thanks to that wonderful curved hot nature of the slap. Not going to allow Misango to do anything. Rush will come out, connect as well. 365 wails Riffa into the corner. And just like that, Riffa finds themselves in critical condition. make that one hit away from going down, and the slap just runs right around the Watt. And Misango is going to drop. Iceman has the initiative. Riffa will start with Rush ready to go and is going to bring in the Coolerang alongside that Cracker this time around. Some more Fire and Ice on display, but hopefully they can utilize this a little bit better than the Cracker and Watt. It just was not working against Ribbon Gull as the power is on display. The red mask is on, gets the cool as well, but Iceman just going to wall on around it. Has Rush to go, arm weak on the right hand side, and again the slap just quickly tips that away from Riffa, and Rush will come out as well, but this time around the shield is successfully up. Notice the fact that they do commit to that. Normally if they don't have Rush, if you commit to continuing on with that Rush, it will build up the Rush, but if it's already built up, it really doesn't matter. Just go for the chip damage if you can. Rush is going to come out, and Iceman gets away with all three of those bursts, but it's going to find themselves in critical condition here as Riffa just has all of the power in the world, finally gets caught by the hottest of slaps. And Iceman now finds himself one poke away from going down, and it's going to be the Cracker who finally stops Iceman in their tracks. Can Riffa actually win this here? Can Riffa actually take the first point in a set this tournament? We're going to find out as Iceman finally does get taken down. The Coolerang kind of started that self-destruct sequence as Iceman again goes to that trusty combination of the Tri-Blast and the Nade, and Riffa's just relying on that Cracker and the Coolerang, to be fair, to force these self-destruct, and it's working out beautifully for them. They both have Rush to go, but look at the difference already. All of these self-destructs are costing Iceman dear points. Arm weak on the right hand side, but it won't really matter as Riffa finally starts to turn this on its head. Iceman will come out with the Rush and does catch it this time round, 280 damage, but Iceman is, well, on the cusp of a KO, and make that they are in critical now, and try to go for the grab, and Riffa makes sure that they do not lose the first match of every set this tournament. The bracket reset starts in their favor. And shock, horror, disbelief, Iceman is picking Mausoleum. At what point will Riffa have to try and come in with a different strategy to wall us out? Having said that, Iceman coming in with Min Min and not Ribbon Girl. So we're going to see what the play here is going to be. Riffa coming in with the Cracker and the Megawatt. Meanwhile, Iceman, Tribolt, and Ice Dragon. Tribolt naturally on the Dragon Arm. And the Watt almost catching Iceman out. It's why you have to be so careful when you commit, because neither of those arms are going to do anything against that Watt. And the 1-2 combinations, even if the Cracker pops on through without the charge, the Megawatt is likely ready to just score that second punch, and there's nothing you can do about it as Iceman gets wailed on out, 225 damage. Another Cracker hit just brings Iceman straight down to their knees. Arm weak on the left hand side. All of the pressure here is just coming from Riffa, and again catches Iceman on the side, and they're just not flinching through anything here. Iceman into critical, and Riffa hasn't even dipped past 75% yet. Both with Rush available, the Dragon finally initiates cooldown and just wrestles the mask away from Riffa, but again, Riffa just waits as patiently as ever. Cracker comes out and immediately gives them the initiative, and it just feels like when it comes to the endurance, Riffa just seems to have it in spades. They're just able to shut down Iceman at every port of call. Both will come out with the Rush, and guess who wins the exchange? It's Riffa with the Megawatt. Just nothing will punch through it. Having said that though, Iceman waited their time, managed to get a shock in of their own, and that big old Sparky is going to do some serious amount of damage to Riffa if they're not too careful about it. And guess what's out on display, my friend? It's the trampoline, which if anything will be harder now for Iceman to deal with, As Ribbon Girl, this would be fine, but as Min Min, it feels like because of the Megawatt, Riffer's just gonna wall this out, not allow Min Min to get anywhere close, just about avoiding the grab, but unfortunately does not avoid the Megawatt shock. And that is going to be a rush, and Riffer is going to party on the trampoline. And having seen how close the initial grand final went, the grand final reset is 2-0 in Riffer's favor. Same match, not same setup though. Iceman's gonna now fling things at the wall to see what sticks, because now it's Springtron. This is an odd change here for Iceman. 2-0 down, they're bringing out the Springtron. An interesting decision is going to be Chiller and Tribolt coming on up, and we'll see if this will be able to deal with Riffer's heavy, fast combination. And so far, they got the initial chill that they were looking for. Remember that they'll be able to punch through the Cracker, no problem. But it's that Megawatt they have to be so careful about. Arm weak on the right-hand side. And Iceman needs to play this very carefully. And again, Riffer just keeps that arm in contention. And there is the EMP. But again, it didn't take out the arm that they would have liked to. If it took out the Megawatt, they would have been absolutely fine. But it only took out the Cracker. The Megawatt just defends for dear life. And pretty much no damage was done to Riffer as a result. Both with Rush ready to go. What is going to come out, but just about avoided by Tron. EMP goes off. It gives them that little bit of buff. You just see how quickly Springtron moves around. But again, they're just walled out. Anything that they can get going is just destroyed, either by the Megawatt shock or the quickness of that Cracker, especially when it's charged up. 30 seconds left on the clock. Riffer has healthy just about. And the EMP comes out, and this time it is the Watt that goes down. And this time it flings back onto Iceman's side. 20 seconds on the clock. Riffer is in critical. Iceman just above the halfway mark. Has to be so careful of that Megawatt. They cannot afford to get caught out by it now. 10 seconds left on the clock. I don't think Riffer will be able to bring this back, although they do get a hit with the Megawatt. A shock or a grab would do it. A grab definitely comes out. It puts Iceman into critical. Who wins this match? It goes to Iceman by a millimeter with that. Iceman barely takes that point. It's going to be Chiller and Tribolt going up against the Megawatt and the Cracker. How close do you want your percentages there? I honestly thought that could have gone to a draw, but the game says no, not today. Riffer goes for the rush, but is stopped by the Bolt. Iceman manages to get there in time before the Watt can extend out properly. And Riffer will have to do this the good old, well, I said the good old, it'll be the hard way. Arm weak on the right-hand side for both players pretty much, as Tron keeps Riffer at bay with a combination of the glove and the bolt, and is gonna bait out the attack from Riffer, who went for the punish after the EMP, but it was the Cracker that led the way, and it was perfectly disguised, as Riffer is just a punch away from going down to Iceman here. The Watt is not going to play a bigger part as they would have liked it to do so. And Iceman is just looking for one more hit, but the Cracker is still coming through. And the last thing you want is for Riffer to start getting ahead of steam. Iceman is in KO range. No! No! Riffer turns that completely on its head, and it's championship point for Riffer and Misango. Iceman was doing so well, but Riffer has finally cottoned on to what Iceman is doing here. The Rang is going to come out for Iceman alongside the Tribolt. The Chiller is away, and they get the stun. They get the follow-up poke with the Tribolt. It's crucial that Iceman lands as much as they can here. They've got Rush. The Watt is neutralized, but they couldn't punish. The Cracker managed to hit, but they did the charge of Rang, and a juggle for 340 is going to give Iceman the lead they needed. They had to wait for that, but they kept their focus, and they were rewarded with Riffer in critical condition. They just managed to get past the Watt. They're looking for one more punch, and they find it. The Rang hits, and Riffer just can't seem to win these championship points when they get offered up to him. It's a point to Iceman in the end. It's 2-1 in this final reset. Oh my gosh, take a drink, everyone. This could still go either way. And remember that Iceman hasn't won this since the 42nd Cup. It must be said, it's been a very long time since Iceman has actually last won one of these. They want to put that to bed, but they've got to do the reverse sweep against Riffer, who is not in any mood to let them take it from them. 2-1 in the grand final reset. It will still be Misango to go up against Springtron. The Chiller is coming out with the C key for Misango. Meanwhile, Iceman with the Tri-Bolt and the Rang immediately initiates EMP. But to be fair, so too does Riffer in a way, having the blue mask. Both going to go quick, both going to go fast. But it's going to be Riffer who gets the better of the exchange, getting that Chiller up, playing Iceman at their own game. The Seiki is going to be an absolute fiend in this, and you just know it. And on Bust the Beach of all stages, it'll be interesting to see if Iceman can take this away. They got the shock. It was delayed and a half, but it does catch the Seiki in the end. That was a questionable trade there, but hey, it happened. And Iceman gets the slight better of it, got caught by the Chiller once more. And thankfully, Riffer is too far away to get punished from that attempt from Iceman. And now just going to keep them walled out towards the Hot Pocket area. Iceman in critical condition. Riffer in no mood to give these points up anymore. Chiller is going to hit. You're just waiting for that one successful hit to fling on through, but again Riffer just can't seem to find this finishing touch as they both just stand in front of each other trying to bait each other out. The grab comes out for Iceman. The Seiki I thought might have been too close, but it does get caught, and Riffer slowly but surely inches towards the halfway line, but it won't matter. Tron goes down to the Chiller. Once again, my friends, you might get tired of hearing it, but it's 2 championship points to Riffer. Both with rush to go. A self-destruct on Riffer of all things. I felt Riffer must have thought that they were absolutely fine. They do get the rush in. 330 damage will come through in the end. But that was not the start that they were looking out for. Both on level terms for the time being. But Iceman is going to get caught by another Seiki explosion. It pops them past the halfway line. Riffer has the initiative and is going to back away and get the shield up as well. And Iceman did not get anything with that as a result. And the speed increases as well, which does not help. As Misango just chills on around, just keeps in the air. Another Chiller hit. And they've pretty much got Rush in the bag as well. And the Seiki is just going to take Tron out of it. Rush will come out. Iceman has to avoid it. And not only do they do so, they get the punish as well. So they're still in this match, but they cannot afford to take any more damage. And that's it. No, it's not it. Riffer didn't land the blow that they would have liked to. So Iceman somehow remained in this. Gonna get their grab attempt blocked out here as they keep the shield up. Rush will come out. Iceman trying to force the initiative, but it's not gonna happen. And immediately walks straight in front of the Chiller, and Riffer, after all of that, is going to remain your champion. Riffer once again reigns supreme. It is his 15th Challenge Cup win. It looks like there is no stopping the Riffer revolution, and the two who have won so many cups between them, in the end, it does go Riffer's right. And Iceman, once again, will have to settle for second best. So 6 times for second place for Iceman now. And again, a nice, wonderful shout out to Alistair, who did make it into top 3 for the second time. No, not for the second time. For the... well, he's made it into top 3 before, but his placement was... no, yeah, he's done second once and third once. So yeah, that's his second time in third now. So yeah, there you go. I don't know what I was going on about there. So yeah. And with that, that is going to be the end of the EU Arms Challenge Cup. Riffer reigns supreme once again. It doesn't look like there's going to be anyone stopping that anytime soon, unless Riffer misses a cup. That will happen. You feel like no one is able to beat this guy at the moment. No matter what character he plays, he's always got a strategy. He's always got something up his sleeve. But Iceman managing to win 3-2 to force the reset, but just couldn't hang on in the end. Just a little too much to ask for. The Tron was brilliant, but it was just the Seiki and the Chiller combination just caught them by surprise, and it's just a devastating thing to go up against. But a good showing from everyone involved. The top 3 are as follows: Riffa, Iceman, and Alistair Yam just missing out on the podium positions in that 4th place there. Thank you everyone who took part, who came round to not only spectate but came to cheer on their respective players. It's been a lot of fun. I have been Tamashi Kanji, and this girl hopes that you are all taking very good care of yourselves and keeping those drinks topped up so that we can all stay fighting fit and fighting fresh. Take care, my friends.